McAfee Show.
There will be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes,
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Overreaction Monday, November 2nd, and this show on SiriusXM begins right now. What did we learn yesterday in the NFL? Well, I'll tell you what, we learned a lot of things. The Patriots are dead. Whoa. Patriots are dead, it feels like, right now at this moment. Coming off of COVID, it feels like it absolutely killed them. Bye-bye to the New England Patriots' 20-year run over the AFC East and the AFC and the NFL as a whole. Since testing positive for COVID, Cam Newton has 0 touchdown passes, 5 interceptions, 3 fumbles. He's been sacked 7 times, and they are 0-3. Now, the Buffalo Bills did not cover, which was very frustrating, obviously, but they did get a dub and cement themselves as the new leader in the clubhouse in the AFC East. Shout out to the Bills and shout out to New England for a hell of a run for 20 years.
Good run.
It was a good run. Good run. Sometimes you can't help but just smile because it happened, as opposed to cry because it's over. And there was a lot of conversations in New England about when old Tommy Foxborough decided to get out of town. Who's going to have a better 2020 NFL season? Was it going to be Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots? Or was it going to be Tom Brady down there in Tampa? Was it Tom that made the Patriot way? Or was the Patriot way able to win no matter who was there? Well, we are finding out here now 8 weeks into the 2020 NFL season. Tom Brady seems to be going with no problems at all, and the New England Patriots seem to be completely dead. Now, I do not believe that this means they'll be dead forever, dead for long. No, but they are currently dead for the moment. Some other teams that are also potentially dead were found out yesterday, but the teams that are alive had hell of a day. Shout out to the Pittsburgh Steelers remaining undefeated, playing against a John Harbaugh-led Baltimore Ravens squad that whenever he was coaching were 10-2 coming off of bye weeks. If you do recall, the Pittsburgh Steelers bye week was moved to week 4 because the Tennessee Titans couldn't handle COVID. The Pittsburgh Steelers, who played terrible football in the first half, absolutely terrible football, come back in the second half with Ben Roethlisberger admittedly drawing up plays in the dirt in Baltimore and beating the Baltimore Ravens. According to Chris Adamski of the Trib, he says Ben says he was literally making up play calls on the field in their muddle huddle thing in the second half. Ben said, I know everybody says I do well in playground, backyard football. Today, it was that in its truest form. Shout out to the Pittsburgh Steelers remaining undefeated. The only undefeated NFL team still, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Do they have their eyes on the 72 Dolphins? Do they have their eyes on a run like we have never seen before? Are the Pittsburgh Steelers 1 year removed from having a duck at quarterback about to go on a run because Ben Roethlisberger gave up porn, gave up booze, and has a brand new elbow? Chase Claypool, their rookie sensation wide receiver, 7 touchdowns, 7 games. He tweeted out afterwards, losing, ? Never heard of her. It feels like the Pittsburgh Steelers organization feels very good about themselves. Mike Tomlin now has the most wins of any African-American quarterback in the history of the NFL. Congratulations to Mike Tomlin. Congratulations to the Steelers. And big congratulations to Big Bob Spokane, linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers with a pick 6 in the very early part of the game and a game-sealing play at the end of the game. Bob Spokane is a new hero in Pittsburgh, and there's another one on their way. The Pittsburgh Steelers have made a trade with the New York Jets to get a guy that none of us knew existed. Avery Williamson is moving to the Pittsburgh Steelers now. He posted a picture of him outside in Manhattan, thumb up as if he's hitchhiking to get the fuck out of the Jets organization. Now he goes from 0-7 to 7-0 with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Congratulations to him. Trade deadline, obviously everybody's been talking about. The world is almost stopped. The trade deadline is tomorrow, Tuesday, November 3rd. There's a lot of moves that could be made. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers somehow, some way lose to the Minnesota Vikings when Dalvin Cook has 226 yards from the line of scrimmage. 226 total yards on 32 touches, 4 total touchdowns. He's the first Viking player with 4+ scrimmage touchdowns in a game since Ahmad Rashad.
Whoa!
Shout out to Ahmad Rashad in 1979. The Green Bay Packers still have one of the most electric offenses in football whenever they only have one real weapon in Devontae Adams. That's nothing against Big Bob Tunyon, who's been making a lot of great plays. And now they have a running back, A.J. Dillon, who tested positive for COVID. Aaron Jones was out. Who else will be out? The Green Bay Packers are potentially movers and shakers before this trade deadline. If you're a fan of the Green Bay Packers, like we all are, because Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays have been so much fun, you would think that this Packers team, who fell victim to a team yesterday in the same exact fashion they did in the NFC Championship game, where they couldn't stop a damn cold. They couldn't stop anything if their lives depended upon it. Aaron Rodgers has like 3 touchdowns yesterday, throws for 200 and some yards, gets absolutely killed at the end, and it never really felt like they had a chance because the Vikings were able to do whatever the hell they wanted with it the entire time. Will the Green Bay Packers make a play before tomorrow's trade deadline? We'll talk to Adam Schefter at 1 o'clock basically to see what he's hearing, what he's thinking. They feel like a team that has to make a move if they want to be able to keep up with the other NFC studs. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers just brought in Antonio Brown. It wasn't a trade, but brought a guy off the street, off of a suspension. He'll be playing next week. The Seattle Seahawks, to their credit, brought in Carlos Dunlap from the Cincinnati Bengals because they noticed that they had a defensive problem. I'll be excited to see if Russell Wilson can continue to play the football that he played yesterday, because Russell Wilson was back to being Bob Ross with a paintbrush on a canvas. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, just 1 week ago, he threw 3 interceptions in a primetime game.
Yikes.
3 interceptions. A lot of people are saying, did Russell Wilson lose it? Has Russell Wilson lost the magical touch that he's had for most of his career in the beginning of this season, throwing 3 interceptions, losing a game, and keeping him moving? A lot of people were asking that, going, not us.
No.
We never do that because we have a lot of respect for Russell Wilson and the Seattle Seahawks. Ain't that right, Ty?
Absolutely.
So, but him getting back to work yesterday, I think, is a direct result of that music video he and Sierra made for Halloween. He dressed up as Busta Rhymes. She dressed up as
Janet Jackson.
And they made a music video that was so damn natural, so damn unbelievable that Russell Wilson couldn't help but ball out yesterday. DK Metcalf is an absolute stud. Russell Wilson is unbelievable. Will Carlos Dunlap and maybe Earl's return for that Seattle Seahawks defense give them enough to make a run? Potentially. But I do know the NFC seems to be a one-horse race through Tampa at this exact moment, and we'll see how they do tonight against the New York Giants. By the way, I've gone 2-2 so far gambling in the NFL Week 8. Thursday night with a win. Yesterday went 1-2. Tonight I will be hammering a lot of things in this Tampa Bay New York Giants game to try to get back and stay on the positive side, because my NFL gambling run this season has been second to none. In this pinky ring from Hammer Don feels very good, so I have to keep it. I like the Buccaneers tonight a lot. We'll talk to Darius Butler in about 15 minutes to see whether or not we like Tom Brady's over or under on passing yards. It should be a great time. And in the third hour, we talk to Italian-American Joe Tessitore, host of Holy Moly on ABC. This past weekend, he got a chance to call his son's game. His son plays for Boston College. They took on Clemson, almost upset Clemson early. A lot of people thought there was bigger problems than just DJ Uiagalelei playing quarterback in lieu of Trevor Lawrence. Thank you. Feel very good about that.
Done.
Defense gave up 28 points to Boston College. One of those points, or some of those points, were scored after Joe Tessitore's son, John Tessitore, who's a holder for Boston College, got up under center, hard count, lack of discipline. Clemson jumps off sides, first down, magical moment between Joe and John. We'll talk to him about that. And everything else happening in your world, our world, the sports world. 1-888-MAD-DOG-6. We want you to join us here on Sirius XM Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Let's introduce the boys now at Tone Diggs. Yesterday, the Pittsburgh Steelers were not supposed to win that game. Stats say they weren't supposed to win that game. John Harbaugh, 10-2, coming off of bye weeks. The Steelers, early bye week, which could bite them in the ass in the end of the season, but let's not talk about that right now. now. We'll overreact to that later. Pittsburgh Steelers still undefeated. That defense is very opportunistic, and it feels like when Ben has to make a play, he makes a play. If I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, I got to be thinking 1972 Dolphins, go eat shit, pal. We're coming for the undefeated record like nobody else has.
Yeah, and we really have one person to thank for that, and things continually to go as the stats say they will, is Lamar Jackson not being able to throw the ball and being terrible against really good teams. So shout out Lamar.
Well, see, you have to be so negative there. You have to be so negative there. It did feel as if there was a lot of turnovers yesterday. Our guy Bob Spokane, he had to pick. What's that?
Spillane.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, Bob Spokane.
Yeah.
Bob Night Train.
Please have some respect
Spumoni.
for Bob Spillane.
Okay.
Please.
All right, listen, I love Bob Spokane. That's why I'm fucking talking about the guy right now. Pick six early, awesome. Then later in the game, when Lamar had to make plays with his arms, it felt like that was when the Steelers defense was just going to make some plays. And that is kind of the recipe. If you look at what the Titans did last year, then the Chiefs, and now the Steelers. And I think Lamar threw some beautiful balls yesterday, by the way. He fits them into a bucket. There was a touchdown score immediately after an interception where he threw it only where his guy. There are glimpses of that. The question is, will Lamar be able to do that enough to make a real run in the AFC? That's going to be the biggest question, because the Pittsburgh Steelers, not just the head of the AFC North now, which was the Baltimore Ravens division here last year, but all of AFC, it feels like the Steelers are the team right now.
And they should win their next 3 games, against Dallas, Cincinnati, and Jacksonville, and then they have a rematch Thanksgiving night against the same Baltimore Ravens team, potentially 10-0 versus the Ravens going to that one.
Do not overlook Joey Burrow and those Cincinnati Bengals. They fucked over a lot of bets for a lot of people this weekend with the Tennessee Titans shitting the bed against the Cincinnati Bengals. Joey Burrow has something about him. I think we all saw it whenever he was down there at LSU. This competitive drive, this grit, this ability to will your team to be in it. They've been in a lot of games that they shouldn't be in, right, this year. That Browns-Cincinnati game was a very close game, obviously, with the Browns getting the win, losing OBJ, and looking like absolute dog shit yesterday against the Raiders, by the way. Now, they're saying 30-mile-an-hour winds, you can't really judge people. I agree completely. The Raiders went in there, though, from the desert and get a win in the 30-mile-an-hour winds. That could be tough without Odell Beckham Jr. But what the Bengals did yesterday to the Titans was like a goddamn moment. I was very impressed by that. I hammered the Titans. We all did. We all thought this was a walk-away game for the Tennessee Titans. They were favored by 7. Everybody thought potential double-digit win there. They did not, because the Bengals were good. But those next 3 games, Cowboys stink. They suck so bad. I don't know how you can suck that bad and be the Dallas Cowboys. Last night, Philadelphia Eagles, Carson Wentz, I've never seen somebody so lackadaisical with the football, being a guy who has played in big-time games and isn't like a rookie. That first drive or whatever, where he was just directing traffic, and he was staring at a Cowboys guy, directing traffic, just chill, could have thrown it away. Very easily could have thrown it away. Could have put it in his left hand, thrown it away. Could have just taken a sack, which everybody would have been like, that's a dumb sack to take. You should have just thrown it away. Instead, he takes a strip sack without even paying attention. Boom, ball slips out. Dallas Cowboys, and Danuch come jogging on the field. Carson Wentz played terrible. Cowboys still couldn't win. Okay, couldn't even cover 10.5 against that terrible Eagles team. The Cowboys stink. If the Steelers, now I said this about the Bills and they couldn't do it, and who knows what's going to happen with the weather wherever the Steelers are playing the Cowboys. Is that down in Dallas?
I believe so.
If it's down in Dallas. If the Steelers don't win by 50 here, I think we got to ask some questions on whether or not the Steelers team's real. I think we have to ask whether this Cowboys team is just dead. They did a lot of talking last night about DeMarcus Lawrence, how much effort he gives every single play. They're trying to sell DeMarcus Lawrence on the broadcast heavily. They're like, hey, listen, we're taking a lot of shots at this whole team, but DeMarcus Lawrence, he does not deserve it. Are they trying to trade him, you think? Is he?
He just got paid, what was it, last year too? A lot of money.
Yeah. But they were talking him up a lot, and it's like there's a couple guys on that team that you have to just feel terrible for, okay? Old Vanden Bosch or whatever the hell his name is. Feel terrible for that guy, okay? Feel terrible for that guy. Sean Lee, how about he's going to die in a Cowboys jersey. He's back last night. That team just stinks, dude. And I don't know if it's Mike McCarthy's fault. Got real creative with the play calling last night.
He did.
He tried to get Danuch on the run and do a lot of that stuff and a couple double reverses and all that shit. They stink. The Steelers should win by 50 there. I don't know what the early line is.
It's not out.
Yeah, smart. Vegas is like, well, what the fuck? Like, are they going to play Danuch? Are they playing fucking Graham Gilbert or whatever the fucking guy's name is? Graham Gilbert from the Atlanta Apollos or something? They are in a terrible spot. And Jerry Jones, he's given up on the mask, by the way. They took a picture of him. Like, it's going to take all of us, Jerry.
Forgot, apparently.
There was somebody sitting above him that reached and grabbed their mask. They weren't even on camera, and Jerry didn't even budge. Fuck the mask. This Cowboys team's going to kill me way before. They're bad. Good for the Steelers. Speaking of bad football, the Patriots have been playing very bad football at this moment. Currently 2-5, losing the last 4 straight, I believe.
Yes.
Lost the last 4. That's tough where you got to be right now because early, a lot of hype. Okay, from us, from everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Cam Newton's back. Here we go. He's playing. The team's rolling. He even alluded to it, how after the Raiders win, I think, they were steamrolling, and then COVID came in and COVID just came in. And that's something Bill Belichick could have never prepared for. You could be the best coach of all time, Bill Belichick.
Oh, yeah.
You could know situational football better than anybody else, which Bill Belichick does. You could have been there, done that with everything. But the thing about COVID is nobody was ever prepared for it.
Nope.
And it's taken out the Patriots completely. And Cam Newton is a completely different football player. He might be done for forever.
First time we've lost 4 straight games since 2002. 2-5 means 2 things for me personally. 1, I'm smoking cigarettes again. And 2, of course.
Are you really?
Oh, yeah. And 2, we got a 4.8% chance to make the
Nobody smokes
playoffs.
cigarettes anymore.
This guy does when the Patriots are 2-5. Okay? You need him.
Yeah, but think about how weak you are. How old are you?
25.
Okay, so the last time the Patriots stunk was when he was 5 years old.
Yeah.
Patriots stink now. He's not even mentally tough enough to not go back into a cancer stick addiction just because one bad year. You might be the most mentally soft human I've ever been around in my entire life.
No, my friend. I was smoking butts when I was 5, and they won 2-5 as well. I mean, there's no difference to this season than it was back then.
And there's no difference between you and the human that you were back then, and that's the problem. That's what we're kind of talking about.
Exactly. Can't be changed. The only thing is with the Patriots is 4 teams have been able to go 2-5 and then make it to the playoffs since 2010. And if any team's going to do it, it's going to be a Bill Belichick-led team.
This was the first time in my life I bet against Bill Belichick. Okay, I bet against Bill Belichick this past week, and I just thought this was a game that the Bills would come out and just stomp all over the Patriots. Now, they got the win. They should be excited. We beat the big bad wolf. We are. But I thought they'd at least be able to cover 3.5, 4 points at that point. They did not.
Nope.
Bill did make it a game. Cam Newton has thrown for 0 touchdowns in 3 games, and they were still almost in that thing to win it at the end, which makes you think that Bill Belichick is still coaching his ass off out there, but I don't know if they just have it. Tom Curran told us before the season started, the cavalry's not coming over the hill, pal. That team stinks is what he said, and it feels like we're all getting to watch that, and somehow, some way, that old man who's 68 years old is still keeping them in these games that they should not be in because they are a bad football team right now.
The New York Football Jets have more passing touchdowns than the Patriots do this year.
What?
The New York Football Jets.
I don't see. It's the football giants.
Well, in this case, it's the New York Football Jets. It's Winnipeg.
And by the way, they're not even playing football sometimes. It looks like they're playing a completely different sport, that team, and they fucking play. They're more tutters than the Patriots. That's tough. That is very tough.
Absolutely brutal. And you talk about Bill Belichick coach teams. We came out of halftime and gave up a 5-play, 75-yard touchdown drive. That's never happened to Bill coming out of halftime. So I don't know what's going on.
By the way, gave up that. All the other things we've talked about, still in the game at the end with the team who's probably going to have a little bit of a run in the AFC playoffs. That is why, although we are dancing on the Patriots' grave, know that every single game, they're going to be a heart attack for the other team, regardless of where they stand, how many wins they have. Ty Schmidt, Green Bay Packers yesterday, same thing that happened in the NFC Championship game. San Francisco 49ers rushed for like 186 yards before contact in that game, which made everybody think in the offseason the Green Bay Packers are going to address a couple issues, okay? They need another weapon because if Devontae Adams gets covered, they're kind of fucked. They also need to figure out a way to stop the run if a team gets going. Yesterday, both of those problems seemed to come back and bite them in the ass. Could not stop Dalvin Cook for the life of them. 226 yards from scrimmage, 4 touchdowns. Everybody in America knew where the ball was going. Packers could do absolutely nothing about it.
Yeah, it's almost like all the fans knew since April what they needed to do to improve the team, but the front office didn't, which is kind of crazy. You know, I mean, you get attacked. It's like, well, they need a lot more than that. I mean, it just – Mike Pettin fucking stinks, first and foremost. They should have fired that guy after the NFC Championship last year. The only reason the defense really hasn't been a huge issue this year.
Is this overreaction Monday? This seems like real Monday.
Well, you can't lose that fucking game. You just can't lose that game.
Especially when the Super Boost is relying on it.
Especially when it's-
5
yeah.
straight weeks of the Super Boost, okay? Steelers did their thing. Raiders did their thing. All we needed was The Packers to get it done. They didn't need to cover anything. Packers just had to win. And old Aaron Rodgers sitting on the sideline watching the defense just let him get fucking sliced and diced by one guy.
They had 2 possessions in the first half and scored on both of them because the fucking Vikings just controlled the clock the entire time. They knew exactly what they were going to do. Kirk Cousins threw 14 passes, and for whatever reason, I mean, the blustery wind out there, they were playing 15 yards off the receivers. Like, I mean, they didn't pressure him at all. They let Dalvin Cook just ram it down their throat. Like, I mean, that's why it's tough because I think, like you said, they need to be buyers at the trade deadline, but I don't think getting one guy on defense is going to solve any issues. Like, they really need another weapon because, like you said, when Devontae Adams, he scored all 3 touchdowns on Sunday. Guess what? The other guys can't fucking get open. I mean, every once in a while, some guy will, but, like, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of why you're supposed to get better for now in the draft and free agency and not just have to trade, for 10 guys.
Well, they have one day until the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Biggest day in American history.
Yes.
Tomorrow,
Yeah.
Tuesday, November 3rd, the 2020 NFL trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be interested whenever we talk to Schefter here in less than an hour if the Packers are moving because there was alleged some smoke around him and Will Fuller, which would be a good move. And then on draft day, they trade up into the first round and they don't get Patrick Queen, who's currently making plays all over the place for the Baltimore Ravens in the run game. They don't get a weapon, which there was like 10 of them available. Chase Claypool was available. Instead, they got Jordan Love, a quarterback of the future, great quarterback of the future, going to carry the pack to places that many quarterbacks going. And we're not saying that. A.J. Dillon, their second-round pick, they already had a pretty deep running back room, but Aaron Jones gets hurt. It's good to have him. He actually has COVID throughout the entire game, spitting on everybody, so who knows how that's going to go. They have to make a play tomorrow. Before tomorrow if they really want to be in this. And I think everybody knows that, including the Packers faithful.
Well, you said it months ago. It's almost like they just punted on this season. Like this is the same team for all intents and purposes as the team that got the doors blown off them in the NFC Championship. The guy they went out and got, Kirksey, he's been hurt all year. And I was like, who they got to, well, this guy's going to stop the run. We haven't seen it.
Tough day yesterday.
I'm not panicking yet, but I'm pretty fucking close.
Well, everybody's been saying the same thing. It's like that team, not 100% sure, going to be able to win a Super Bowl like that. Okay? You got to be able to stop the run, and you got to be able to move the ball.
Rodgers has to be perfect, every week pretty much.
And unless Aaron's working on it, I'm not sure. Is he going to go out and play inside linebacker?
He should.
If he or Jordan Love could potentially go out there, then we say Gunther's a good idea.
Yeah.
They couldn't stop anything yesterday.
No.
Is that attitude? Is that scheme? Is that one bad game? Or does this seem to be a little bit of a trend? We will see as we go. At Viva Lazito, Chicago Bears do cover. Big shout out to them. Plus 5.5. That was very nice.
At what cost?
Well, you lost.
I know.
Bears pretty much dead. Now there's big controversy on whether or not Mitchell Trubisky should come back into the game or Nick Foles is going to be the guy. You guys got wide receivers slapping people for no reason. Well,
one wide receiver. One wide receiver.
Kind of a scumbag move or whatever by old Wims.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that in a little bit. The Bears are dead, though. We all have put them in the dead category.
Yeah,
Only
they're dead.
4 people.
Maybe Zito hasn't.
Take your grave.
Zito, what's your poll today before we have to get to a break?
Yep. Who's the best team in the NFL right now? Right now, Bills 1.9%, Seahawks 9.2%, Chiefs 38.1%, and Steelers 50.8%.
I'll say there was a lot of discussion around the Bills being on this list, but I think Zito felt as if we had potentially shortchanged Bills Mafia the last couple of weeks.
So I chose teams with more than 6 wins.
See that?
Yeah.
See that?
Why? What happened?
No, that's good. You never told us that.
Smart move.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Because the Buccaneers probably should be on there, and then you'd have 2 from the NFC and 2 from the AFC.
Would have made sense.
Now we got no.
He absolutely didn't think about that until he typed out their record and then saw that they all had 6 wins.
Nope. Check my search history.
All right. No.
No, don't do that. Don't do it.
Overreaction Monday, November 2nd. We have to get to a break. Darius Butler will join us on the other side, plus your phone calls. We have a lot of overreaction tweets from fans as well we're going to read. It's a beautiful November 2nd. Hope you're enjoying your life. We're back on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
The game of the weekend, Steelers at Ravens. Ravens are currently minus 3.5. Let's see where the money's at here. Michael, you got any thoughts on this one?
I just think, to me, the wrong team's favorite. I think Pittsburgh over the year has played better on both sides of the football. I worry about Baltimore running the football I worry about Baltimore being explosive to take advantage in their passing game. I mean, Pittsburgh knows how to play this team. They really do. They know how to play ball. They did it last year. They took them to overtime in Pittsburgh.
And I'm on the Steelers, too, for all the reasons we talked about earlier. They're 4-0 against the spread their last 4 and 2-0 against the spread away. The road team in the last 7, 5-2 against the spread. The Steelers 8-3 against the spread their last 11 against the AFC North.
Wow, that one's a good one. Pa-boom.
Steelers as a dog 27-2 their last 29 games.
I can tell you why the dog and the road team is so good in the series. We had a graphic up here. It's because it's always the dog is obviously, and the road team is obviously always getting points. And in this series, when you get points, they're always such close games. It favors to take the dog in this series.
Yeah,
I agree.
As long as it stays over 3, as long as you're getting that hook
Correct,
at 3.5. I like the Steelers.
What is it? 4? I have 4 on my board. If it's
Even
4,
better, Mike.
I just hit 4.5 right now on FanDuel.
4.5?
I just bet 4.5 on FanDuel right now.
There you go. I'll take 4.5. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and you are welcome. Let's move.
Grazie, grazie.
Oh, shit. Hey, Steven, fuck you.
And it is off the wall.
Go, cut. This is a good at-bat. Hey, nice pitch. I think I just pulled a hammy. Hey. Back. Hey, fuck you, Steven. What inning is it?
Top of the second.
Jesus.
Here comes McAfee.
I saw that thing jumping out of the glove. Hey. What was that? Would have been nice to take a nap earlier.
Another throw.
Get back.
First. He's going back on it now, coming over the center fielder. Harris makes the catch.
Cousin. James. What was that? And the catcher goes, I had to give you 1.
1-1 pitch.
Let's go.
Line drive right at the
This is a good at-bat. Oh, in my head, it was like, oh, yeah, you're going to drop this for sure. What the fuck are you even doing here? Why did we sign up for this? What's going on? It all comes down to this. My last at-bat. Hey, I'm going to get on. You bring me home.
This is your life on the line, fucker.
Let me tell you something. You're going to take an L, okay? You're going to take one.
So I think that the close your eyes and swing method is perfect for you.
Oh, this is hardball.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Jesus. You have no prayer.
Number 1. Right fielder.
Oh, boy.
McAfee at the plate.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
One fight at a time, fellas.
The Pat McAfee Show.
That's right.
Ooh. Hey, this song is a heater, dude. You better run on forward. So how it kind of starts. Oh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
It's Johnny Cash.
Sounds damn like it, doesn't it? This is Year of the Buffalo.
Oh, really?
Ohio River.
YOTB joint.
Released it, I think, on Saturday or Friday.
Yeah.
They're coming for me.
They're coming. It's a banger. And I want to get to Darius, but I feel like this song deserves a little bit of a run.
Darius Rucker's in this song?
Come on.
Darius Butler.
Oh.
I mean, it does take a little bit to build here.
It's worth it, though.
It is, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
They're coming for me.
Come on, get to it.
They are coming.
Is it coming right here? If not, I'm moving on. I think so.
Now if I wanna let me go, Down the river on the Ohio.
Yeah. It's a fucking heater, dude.
Get him at the
I've never been to the Ohio River, but I feel like I'm there right now.
You have been.
Have I?
I think so, yeah.
Where's it at? Obviously Ohio, but.
It's created in Pittsburgh, though.
Oh, no way.
Welcome back to the show.
Next to Allegany River?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's actually
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, the Monongahela, you see, in the Allegheny. They come together to create the Ohio. By the way, that's the three rivers. You see.
yeah.
And that's the point down there in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You've been there. You've been on it and in it, I think, at the same time.
Let's strike that from the record. I have been there.
Anyways, joining us now is a man who I'm sure has not been in the Ohio River. I think a lot of dead bodies in there, to be honest with you, but which is what that song was about, I think. Ladies and gentlemen, join us now, Darius Butler.
Three Rivers. Got a little education there. Appreciate that.
Hey, that song was a banger, huh?
It was a vibe. It was a vibe. It was smooth.
It was. You know what else? You know what else is a vibe?
What's that?
Watching this Patriots team, dude.
Whoa!
They stink, dude. Like, listen, I'm a big Cam Newton guy. I went on an entire pitch and rant about Cam Newton when I saw him working out in those videos. I'm like, hey, this guy's all the way back. He's only 31 or whatever.
Man.
And then they got Bill Belichick. And they got a lot of players that opted out of the season because of COVID. You know, they didn't want to get smacked in the face by Corona. But then they started winning some games. We're back. And now COVID came through and just took the life out of that entire thing. Julian Edelman's getting surgery. Stephon Gilmore had some injury pop up. I mean, they're still in games because Bill Belichick is such a good coach. Is that the only reason why? They're going to be in, it feels like, now granted they got blown out by the Niners, but it feels like they're going to be in a lot of games strictly because of coaching, or am I wrong for thinking that?
I mean, it sounds like you guys have come to the conclusion that the Patriots are dead.
Yeah.
No, not all.
Yeah.
See, I'm not there yet.
Wow.
Yeah. 4 losses in, but I'm not there yet. And I'm not there because I think I don't trust the Bills. And I don't know. I still don't trust the Dolphins, even though I got my hat on tour time. They looked damn good yesterday, but I don't trust them yet. I definitely trust Bill, and I still trust Cam, man. COVID came and got him. 20 years of dominating, and COVID come out of nowhere in 2020 and knock them out. But I still think they got a chance, man. They're not dead yet. And Belichick is going to keep them in games. And I think Cam, he's going to figure it out, man.
Sure feels like they're dead. I don't know. Every time
It
It does.
does.
But the Bills should have covered that game yesterday. They did not. That goes to overtime. I think the Bills cover, which is kind of a slap in the face by Cam Newton to all of us gamblers on the Bills, which is very nice. He should think about us for a little bit. Let's talk about some other teams around the NFL. Pittsburgh Steelers still undefeated, Darius Butler. I mean, that is the story of the weekend. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense is opportunistic. Lamar Jackson threw the ball into some spots that were incredible, and then on other spots it was like interception, which I think is what Lamar Jackson's going to have to be able to get rid of if they want to go forward. That Steelers team, though, that defense is like one of those old school, historic, this defense will win games for you in a modern world that revolves around offense, Darius.
Yeah, I mean, you would think so, but you look at a team like the Bears, Zito's squad. If you just watch that offense, you would think that was a 1 or 2 win team, but that defense has carried them through and winning 5-2 into last week, 5-3 now. But defensively, they still look good. The Steelers were amazing last year defensively, I felt like, especially with those quarterbacks, because it's a complementary game. So the more your quarterback or your offense sucks, the more pressure it puts on your defense. And for him to be 8-8 last year, I thought that was Tomlin's probably best coaching job. But you bring that back into this year with Big Ben back. You got other weapons stepping up. Last undefeated team. I mean, you gotta have them at the top of the AFC. I'm gonna put them over. Nah, I'm gonna put them 2 behind the Chiefs still, but they up there.
I saw you think about it. I saw you think about it. And the thing about
because Big Ben's not there yet, man. He's still not the same guy yet. I don't know if he'll ever be.
That's a great question, actually. He came out and said that he was calling plays in the huddle, basically, like kind of drawing up plays. I don't know what that means, but why are they even practicing, right? I mean, what do we even got Wednesday, Thursday, or Fast Friday for if we're not deciding what the fuck we're going to do until Sunday? I respect it. Maybe Ben Roethlisberger's changing football forever here.
Maybe. That's what Big Ben's been the most dominant over his career is extending plays, playing some backyard football. But he got some playmakers over there, and it's really going to be on him to just pick up his level of play and to take them kind of to that Super Bowl run if they go. But they still undefeated, playing good enough ball to win. That defense has been outstanding all year, locked in on Lamar. They kind of got Lamar's number. Even though the Ravens and Lamar beat him last year, it was still a close game with, I think, either Mason or Doug Hodges at quarterback. So, the future's looking real good for them Pittsburgh Steelers, man.
If you have a defense like that, you're going to win games you're not supposed to win. So congrats to the Steelers. They'll probably go on a little bit of a run here. Will they be able to top the Chiefs, who lost a couple games early last year and then figured it out? Are they doing the same exact thing? They looked unstoppable this past weekend against the Jets, and they decided that they were going to win by so much that our touchdown celebrations are going to be so fucking outrageous. Tyreek Hill went into the crowd, ran up the steps, 15-yarder. Travis Kelce, who told us stories about his Madison Square Garden hoop dreams just a week ago whenever he was playing for Cincinnati, he dunks on the upright. Everybody knew that was no longer allowed or whatever. Patrick Mahomes gives Tyreek Hill a piggyback running down the entire side of the field, laughing and screaming. It felt like they knew they were going to be dominant going into that game, and that's what happened last year. Whenever they started realizing what they were and figuring out how they're going to go, they just kept going and going. Didn't hear much from Lev Bell. I don't know how his game was. I don't think anybody cares. As long as they're winning, they just keep it moving. Let's go back to the defense conversation, though, that you had with the Chicago Bears, because that defense is very good. Okay, that defense is obviously very good at the football. On the offensive side of the ball, though, they're now entrenched in a conversation on whether or not Mitchell Trubisky deserves to be back in a quarterback or whatever.
Man.
What I do know is the Chicago Bears wide receiver room, they just give no fucks at all. I have never seen anything, and I think you and I texted about this either last night or this morning or whatever. Wims, after he did it, after he obviously knew he was going to get ejected from the game and get a 15-yard penalty and all that, he was flexing that's what I do. Like, that's what he was, and it was insanity what happened last night. I assumed it was probably because Wims learned that CJ wasn't registered to vote, but after seeing it this morning, I guess CJ.
Get off my damn phone.
Yeah, I guess he. What just happened there? You all right?
Man, no. Just that every time I look at my phone, it's something about damn voting or exercise.
Watch out, Wims gonna come after you.
I think everyone should, and if you don't want to, then don't. I mean, do your thing though. Vote, exercise the right, get out the vote, do the polls. But yeah, man, that shit was wild. That had to be some personal beef. And Ben, I saw the play before, and I don't know if it was a play before, and the other guy snatched his mouthpiece off before. But for him to go back to the huddle, come back, line up again, do his thing, run his little route, and then go back and handle that. Like, he had to calculate that shit. He had to go, all right, I'm playing tonight for free. I'm going to be sent to the locker room. And likely, I'll probably lose my job. Because we all get that, hey, protect the shield message before the season. We all get, be a team player, don't be selfish. So that shit was wild, man. Had to be some personal shit behind that.
Be who you can afford to be is a big deal. I'm not sure Wims can afford to be anything like what he was last night. Any of his actions just pieced together by themselves, I'm not sure. The flexing on the team, probably not enough to do that. No. The ripping of the chain, probably not enough to do that. The first punch, probably not enough to do that. And then that second wild slap, probably not enough to do that. So there was like 4 different things I don't think Wims could do. But they said this morning, somebody went back and watched it. In the previous drive, I guess, CJ came and snatched Wims's mouthpiece off of his helmet and then threw it down. Then he goes on the sideline, and it was at like 5:20 when that happened, or 5:10. 11 minutes had gone by, okay, where he was on the sideline. He goes back out there. Then he does it. Yeah, so he was sitting on that for 11 minutes just like, I can't believe this guy grabbed my fucking mouthpiece in the middle of a pandemic. And then he goes over there and does that whole thing. There's ways to get back at CJ there that don't revolve around being an absolute idiot, I would assume, right?
Yeah, I mean, shit. Cut block, late block in the back, late shove here and there. And it happens during the game. You got chirping back and forth. It's a physical game, whatever. Shit happens. But to take it that level, like you said, I didn't know it was an 11-minute gap. I thought it was the next play because I'm like, so he went to the sideline, that makes absolutely no sense. It's not worth it. If it's that deep, we saw Aaron Donald. After the game, he took his pass off one game, put his helmet back on, and went and met somebody at the field. Hey, meet me at the bus. If it's certain ways to handle disrespect than to do it like that and probably lose your job. I hope you don't lose your job, but we all seen people get fired for less. So we'll see.
It's just incredibly, and this is going to sound bad, but it's incredibly selfish Like everybody thought everybody thought he was making up for his teammate because of a point in the face earlier or whatever. And it was like, he's sticking up for his teammates. It's like, no, he's fucking over his teammates, okay? That's what he's doing. He just got a 15-yard penalty. I think Foles either threw a pick or almost threw a pick the next play. And your offense has absolutely been terrible. Yeah, that's a selfish move. Like a lot of people think, like for instance, when Pouncey attacked Myles Garrett, that game was over with already. That game was done. He was sticking up for a teammate. Like there's ways to go about sticking up for your teammate that aren't considered selfish and kind of screwing over your entire team. I assume Wims has had some long conversations today with a lot of people. I assume there's
you got to find a happy medium between what the Dallas O-line and offense did and what Wims did. You got it's a wide gap in there that you got to find in there to say, all right, I'm gonna have my teammates back. But that was some bullshit.
There was like 4 different skirmishes on the field yesterday, by the way, around the league. There was like 4 or 5 different fights, and I was like, oh, what week are we in? 8. Oh yeah, because the beginning of the season's too far away, and there's no light at the end of the tunnel. We're right in the middle of like right in the middle of the wall that hits, and you're going to see some testy players probably for the next couple weeks. Let alone on top of all this COVID shit that's popping off, it is probably going to be a bit tense. Let's talk about tonight's game, Darius. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tommy Brady in the New York Giants with Danny Dimes. Monday Night Football. How do you see this one going? I will let you know after the weekend. I am currently 2-2 on my bets this weekend. So tonight is the way to save me for being a winning betting weekend. With you, I hammer. What are we hammering?
Oh, okay, shit, no pressure.
Yeah, a lot of pressure.
So we got Brady, Brady against the Giants. I mean, the Giants 1-6, been stinking it up. I don't think we'll have any surprises tonight. I think the Bucs go out there and do what everybody expects them to do. I do think I'm gonna go Brady on the over. It's 260. I'm gonna give him the over. I don't think he'll have to pass that much, but I think he will. Brady's a kind of one of those big picture guys. He sees what's going on around the league. He sees what's going on in New England. He sees what's going on in the NFC with some of the other top teams, the Packers, the Seahawks. It's kind of the blood is in the water. They obviously added AB. So the other receivers, they like, all right, I got to make sure anytime I touch this rock, then I got to get off. Pause. But so knowing that, I think he gets over that 260 for sure.
That is, hey, you are speaking my language there whenever you're like, hey, Tom's looking around, okay? He saw what Drew did yesterday, okay, in Chicago, not great. Yeah. He saw what Russell Wilson did, though, yesterday, probably 4 touchdowns. He's watching from afar what's going on up in New England. Just like, oh, they lost to Buffalo, huh? That's interesting. Yikes. I've never heard of that. So this is, and it's prime time. I mean, this feels, this does feel like a Tom Brady about to pop off. Gronkowski probably going to have another big night because that relationship is just growing back to what it used to be. This does feel like this is a slaughtering of the Giants tonight, doesn't it? It does feel like that right now.
It feels like that. It feels like that. Like I said, I don't think we have any surprises. Joe Judge is somewhat familiar with Brady. Got Logan Ryan over here, too, the guy that picked off his last pass at Gillette Stadium. Ooh. So, I mean, you got some guys who are a little familiar, but I still think he comes out and handle business. Too many weapons, not enough defenders for the Giants that can hang with those guys. And Gronk is kind of coming along. He's kind of getting into midseason form. So it should be ugly.
All right.
It should definitely be ugly.
We appreciate you, boss man.
Appreciate you.
Hey, there's a couple of trades that could potentially happen. Any that have piqued your eye? Anything that you've thought like it would be cool if this team would make this move?
I want to see the Packers get a receiver, man. I don't know how they do it, but they got to get it done. Because like I said, the NFC. I mean, after the Bucs, the Seahawks, I mean, the Packers should be right in there. But if you don't, they don't have enough on defense to stop the run as well. So if you can get a good linebacker like the Steelers they just finessed a good linebacker out of the Jets. So but you got to get A-Rod another weapon. I feel like another legit certified weapon to really make a run. They talking about Gilmore moving. I don't see Gilmore being moved this season. So I don't know.
I hope the Packers get a weapon, but a weapon doesn't stop them from giving up 226 yards to one guy. Oh, no. Hey, you're on the defensive side of the ball, okay? And this doesn't make sense to me. Everybody on earth knew Dalvin Cook was going to get that ball 70% of the offense yesterday went through Dalvin Cook, and it felt like it was becoming a bit of a trend, okay? This Dalvin Cook guy is dominating. When you're on a defense, is there ever a conversation on the sideline from player, maybe to coach, maybe if the coach isn't seeing the same thing in players, where you go like, hey, I know we probably didn't prepare for this, but it seems like one motherfucking guy is getting the ball every time. Can we adapt to that? Is that a conversation that happens on the sideline? And do you think that just didn't happen, or they just couldn't get the job done yesterday?
It should happen mid-drive. I mean, but you go into a week and you have a certain game plan, and once you see you're being either out-executed or they came in with a better scheme, you got to switch it up. But stopping the run in the NFL, it comes down to just being gap discipline, being sound on defense. And sometimes you just don't have the personnel. I don't think the Vikings just have, straight ass kickers up front that's just moving people around, but they looked like that yesterday. So maybe they don't just have the personnel on the side of the ball with the defense. But, it's simple, starting to run. Be in your gap, there's one back. You got one guy to be responsible, and if somebody pulls, they move. But just do your damn job. When somebody runs, that's a mindset thing, man. I think the Vikings just came in with a mindset.
That's not good.
They bullied them.
Oh, no.
Bullied?
Packers are mentally weak, just getting bullied in Lambeau. Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, the host of the Man to Man podcast, 9 years in the NFL in the secondary, Darius Butler. Thank you, D-Bud. Yeah, everybody I've heard talk about who plays the football, we'll talk to AJ Hawk in the third hour about this as well, feels like run defenses will. Like it's all a mindset. It feels like that's what everybody says, like, oh, it's mindset. Like, yeah, you got to be gap disciplined. They can expose you and gouge you and everything like that. But if it's just a continual ass beating, at some point I'd assume some people just aren't, because humans aren't going to be at 100 or whatever their Madden rating is every single day. But boy, if you're just getting slaughtered like that, at some point you just got to either give up or go the other way. And it feels like yesterday and in the NFC Championship, same outcome happened for the boys.
How much of that do you think is coaching? Because it does seem like they do have good pieces. They have one of the best D tackles in the NFL. I mean, I don't know what the guys outside of him, but like how much of that is just coaching?
I don't know.
It's not like they just have a bunch of bums out there. I mean,
is LaFleur not rallying the troops enough in a pregame speech? Pregame speeches are the dumbest thing of all time. If you're not going to play, you're not going to play. There's a lot of money on the line and your livelihoods. If you need somebody else to tell you to go play, go play. Or it could just be a bad day. Could have just been a bad day. It was cold. It was windy. You're at home. I think Aaron said something about energy not being in the stadium or whatever, which he has alluded to in the past about defenses potentially feeding off the fans. There was no fans there. I mean, maybe it was just a bad day. We don't know. But it does look like that is the way to beat the shit out of the Packers. Just keep Aaron Rodgers on the sideline. What's up, Tom?
We talked about the Packers potentially trading to get better. A Pro Bowler and an All-Pro were just traded.
Okay.
49ers traded Quan Alexander, linebacker, to the Saints. And then the Chargers traded Pro Bowl or All-Pro D-back Desmond King to the Titans. So those teams just got better.
All right, Titans pick up a corner. Congratulations to the Titans. And the Saints pick up a linebacker. You would think that maybe the Packers would have been in play for any type of linebacker, but instead the Saints in the NFC, they pick up a great football player. I don't know how he's playing now, but I know his name carries a lot of weight. It's interesting the 49ers have got rid of somebody. Maybe they have too many players on their defensive side, or no, the Niners won't tap out. No way. They benched Jimmy G 2 times in the last 3 weeks. They've been out of games so much that Nick Mullins came in and brought them back into that thing a little bit yesterday against the Seahawks, but they've been beat pretty bad. They get rid of Quan Alexander. I wonder what they got in return. Interesting move. And then Desmond King, who's only been in the NFL for like 3 years, all-pro returner and corner, he goes to the Tennessee Titans. Be interested to see how he fits into Vrabel's defense. The Titans yesterday got their asses beat by the Cincinnati Bengals. Nobody could have expected that. They are in the market to make some moves. Adam Schefter will be joining us in about 10 minutes. We'll talk to him about these deals and anything else that's potentially happening. Will the Packers be players in this game is all anybody's at. Look, Darius Butler's down there in Miami, okay? Yeah. He's got a Miami Dolphins hat on because he rides or dies with his teams. It's not about who's winning and who's losing. He rides or dies with all of his teams. He's like, Packers got to. Everybody feels the sentiment that the Packers have to get better. Will the Packers or not? We shall see, Ty.
Well, if they don't get better, they're going to have a early trip to the offseason, so they better fucking figure it out.
The Packers are currently dealing with a COVID issue.
Oh, no.
A.J. Dillon, a man who ran Connor over.
No. Oh. He didn't run me over.
What happened?
I ran him over.
Well, you were the running back.
You remember it.
A.J. Dillon got ran over by COVID yesterday. His game day test came back positive. So he played that entire game yesterday with COVID, which means that the contact tracing stuff that is going to happen will be very interesting, because if you're A.J. Dillon, you're a running back, you're in a huddle, you're on a sideline, you're getting tackled, you're doing all that stuff. Very intriguing. They spent a lot of time on the sideline yesterday too. So A.J. Dillon potentially sitting on the sideline for 38 to 40 minutes of yesterday's game, because how much the Vikings dominated. What will the contact tracing say? How will that come out? The Green Bay Packers issued a statement, I guess, that they will be doing everything virtually today. Short week, games on Thursday. Don't know the health of Aaron Jones. Do know that A.J. Dillon's going to be out for at least the next couple of days. If he was in the Big Ten, it'd be 21 fucking days. The Packers were informed today that a player has tested positive for COVID-19. Our organization has entered the NFL's intensive protocol, and the player has self-quarantined. Well, he played. This is Justin Turner, by the way.
Exactly.
He is self-quarantined. Okay. We will continue to work with the league on contact tracing as we follow the guidelines of intensive protocol. All player meetings will be conducted virtually today. Our focus continues to be on the health and safety of our players, staff, and community. We will continue to work closely with the NFL and medical professionals and follow their guidance, says the Green Bay.
After today, we're on to San Francisco.
Let's go to Andrew in Kentucky. What's going on, Andrew?
Hey, boys. How's it going?
Hey, not too shabby. How are you, bub?
Doing pretty good. Just wanted to call in on this overreaction Monday and say that nobody's going to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. Their defense is just too good.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Hey, beautifully said, Andrew.
Well said.
Well said. Good overreaction there. Let's go to Spencer in Montana. What's going on, Spencer?
Pat, how's it going, pal?
Hey, not too shabby, pal.
Shout out to the boys in there. Have a good weekend, I hope. I was wondering if the Giants and the Jets combined teams, if they could put together a team that could win the NFC East.
Great question, Spencer. Nope. That didn't sound like a Montana.
No.
But I like the fact that he said he was from Montana, knowing that if you're from Montana or an obscure state, I'm probably going to click on it faster. That's a good move. We're going to get a lot of people lying to us, okay? And it's probably going to hurt our relationship with our callers because we're going to call them liars. But that's not a bad move that Spencer just had there. A lot of people are asking the question on whether or not Alabama or Ohio State could potentially, come in first or second in the NFC East at this point. I'm not saying it. I'm just telling you people on the internet.
I've heard this.
Fields is the best quarterback out of all three of those teams. So.
Yeah, well, that's what the people. I had one conversation with somebody that knows quarterbacks, like at that level.
Yeah.
And this was last year, early in the season. They said Justin Fields is the guy out of all this group. And I'm like, well, Trevor Lawrence, he's like 6'6". He's got that long hair. He just won a national championship and everything. He's really good. They're like, yeah, he's very good as well. Justin Fields is the guy. And I'm like, that's interesting.
Okay.
So anytime I talk quarterbacks, I always go, the people that know things say that Justin Fields is the guy, because that's what I was told by somebody who knows things. And he looks very, very good at the football right now. I mean, very, very good.
Oh, yeah.
He's down 20 pounds because he went on to a plant-based diet or whatever. I feel like you just shred weight whenever you do that.
I think so.
Is it just because you shit your pants?
Probably.
I assume so.
Poop turns green.
Yeah, the plants.
You had too much Gatorade, poop turns green. You eat plant-based thing, it turns green. You know what I mean? What's that? Hot Cheetos do what to you?
Green poop.
Really?
Yeah, to me.
I think that's what you're eating alongside of it.
I don't eat vegetables.
No, I think it's potentially Gatorade or sugar intake.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I do believe. I don't know if it's just the Cheetos.
I do love hot Cheetos.
You do, don't you? The world is about to get a lot less hairy, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's right, folks. You can now purchase Manscaped products. If you haven't had access to Manscaped thus far, you've gone years without using the right tools for the job. What? I feel like we fucked this one up, dude.
Manscaped?
Introduction. Support for show names is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist. Manscaped is taking over the world and is now available in Europe, Canada, UK, and Australia. What? Whoa. I knew I missed something. Hey, shout out to you guys getting a chance to get the greatest in manscaping in the business in Europe, Canada, UK, and Australia. Go to manscaped.com/Pat and get 20% off free shipping. They got the Lawnmower 3.0. It is just a super smooth manscaping tool that once you start, you cannot stop. I literally once shaved my entire body because of how good it felt. And also the Weed Whacker, which has a 9,000 RPM ear and nose hair trimmer. Jeez. No nicks, none of that proprietary stuff that makes you feel good. It is Manscaped.com/Pat, 20% off and free shipping. Shout out to Europe, Canada, UK, and down under Australia. Hour 1 is wrapping up here. Big thanks to Darius Butler. Hour 2, we'll see Adam Schefter. Go take a shit. We'll see you on the other side. Hey, by the way, Mason jar, real crowd pleaser last week whenever you were drinking out of that. I'm a big fan of that move. Is that just what your kitchen is? Just a bunch of mason jars and paper plates and stuff like mine?
No, that's vodka, by the way.
I heard you're a bad flip cup player. That makes no sense at all because with how good you are at throwing a flip cup.
Again, that's a total lie. Graham Harold had no idea how to play flip cup.
Okay.
You got back to your trash talking about wrestling that I saw. I thought maybe you're going to call out AJ to be a partner of yours and get him involved. He's long wanted to follow in the footsteps of his heroes like Macho Man, Randy Savage, Hulk Hogan. I mean, he's done probably as many drugs as those guys. So.
The reaction to your Zoom conference call where you were asked about defenses figuring out your offense and you said 1 of 5 or whatever, the reaction was awesome. It was like, Aaron Rodgers is in a bad mood. Aaron Rodgers is moody. This is what happens when Aaron Rodgers loses games. He's moody. When you sit there and you say something like that and you watch the world react to it, what are your immediate thoughts?
I didn't see a lot of the reactions, to be honest, Pat. I really didn't. I will address, last Wednesday. I think it was one of the poorest set of questions that I've received all year. Those people got a job to do. We were 4-1, and I think I've been really good on those. Try and be as thoughtful as possible. But I thought, some of the questions were just poor questions.
Aaron, can it sometimes hinder a quarterback if you have a stud receiver that you are thinking like, hey, I got to go to this guy?
I don't know. I don't think any quarterback looks at it like that. I really don't. I just think that's the wrong way to play if you are. I just think that there's certain guys who just have that special star quality, like Julio, so you do feed them, intentionally sometimes because they have usually a bigger catch radius. They have the ability to run more routes. There's been times in my career where I need a play, and it happened in the Super Bowl. I felt like we were just a little bit off. I was maybe running a little high emotionally, and we called a screen pass on 3rd and 1, and I alerted the go route outside of Jordy Nelson for a touchdown, and that settled me down. I think it settled our offense down, and we went on to win the game.
I could see how a guy like Richard Sherman, who's been in the league a long time and has had success, could be like, hold on. This young little isn't going to dap me up. But on the flip side, Baker's like, well, you're enemy number 1 for me. Because that's how Baker has always operated. And now Richard Sherman says, so you don't see any difference in the way I shake everyone else's hand and the guy who stands back with the petty shake was BS and I took offense to it, then turns and runs off. It's not that big of a deal. It swept the nation yesterday. It was controversy like no other controversy in the NFL world. Joining us right now, Richard Sherman. Everything you do and say is going to get talked about. Do you agree?
I would agree.
Baker Mayfield is also a man that everything he does and says is going to get talked about. Do you agree?
I wouldn't agree as much, but sure. So I put my hand out, just out of courtesy. And he gives me a little petty slap on the hand. And I took it as disrespect. People can say, oh my God, he shook your hand. Like, what? Oh my God, you were wrong. You can say whatever you want. I don't give a damn.
Is there anything you'd like to say? Like, hey man, I apologize for the misquote there. I did see on video the dap up, although it was a bit petty. I apologize for everything that happened, or are we just moving forward?
Oh, it's going to be a bit of both. It's definitely my bad. I never want anybody to have to deal with some shit some stuff that they didn't do, And so I'll probably reach out to them via text or social media to actually get a hold of him and talk to him in person. First off, that was a great name y'all came up with, like Dapgate. I was crying laughing. But yeah, he definitely deserves an apology, and that's my bad on that.
Richard, I'll tell you what, bro. To show the humility right there to say, hey, my bad on that entire thing. Once I watched the film back, it was different than what I thought. I think a lot of people are going to have a lot more respect for you. They should at least.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here. Hour 2 of this hectic Overreaction Monday. November 2nd begins right now. Incredible beat drop there by Twine. We have some breaking news. We alluded to it at the end of the hour there. If you're just joining us on this Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio channel 82, Kiko Alonso has been sent to the San Francisco 49ers alongside a conditional pick, I believe, for Quan Alexander, stud linebacker from the Niners, goes down to the Saints after the Saints get a W over the Bears in overtime just yesterday. A lot of people on the internet are asking the same question. Did the Green Bay Packers know that Quan Alexander was potentially being traded out of San Francisco? And after the game they had yesterday, in the game that kicked them out of the NFC Super Bowl run last year in the NFC Championship game, would they be in the market for a linebacker? Turns out the Saints must have offered something better, or the Green Bay Packers were not even a part of it. Linebacker Quan Alexander is now at the Saints. The NFC teams continue to get better at the top of the field. Will the Green Bay Packers do anything? We've been asking since before the goddamn draft, haven't we, Ty? Also, another trade that just took place. Desmond King of the Chargers 2017 draft pick, man who's been all-pro at returner and at corner. He is now a member of the Tennessee Titans team, who got blown out by the Cincinnati Bengals yesterday. So moves are being made. The deadline for all this shit is tomorrow, Tuesday, November 3rd, the biggest day in America's history, the NFL trade line day. Joining us now is a man who probably has more information than anybody else in what's going on in the NFL and the trades and all that stuff. Insider for ESPN legend Adam Schefter. Shefty.
Hotbox. Hello there, Pat. How you doing?
Shefty, are you in a sauna right now?
I am in an outdoor eating area trying to be respectful of my fellow patrons there, Pat.
Oh, very nice of you. Okay, Shefty, sorry, I don't want to interrupt your eating area or your potential COVID world that you're living in over there right now. Stay safe. We need you. Trade deadlines tomorrow. We just saw Quan Alexander get moved down to the Saints for Kiko Alonso and another pick. Desmond King out of the Chargers to the Titans. Is there any other notable news that is potentially going to break today? It feels like the NFL is getting very active on humans moving.
Well, listen, if there have already been 2 trades and it's 1 o'clock Eastern today, right now, that tells you that there's going to be more activity. We saw a bunch of trades last week, obviously, with Everson Griffin being traded, with Carlos Dunlap being traded. And so you got some moves last week, Yannick Ngakoue the week before. It's been very busy. Look, the NFL before the trade deadline is usually not that active. And like I said already, we've seen a handful of deals with the deadline being 4 Eastern tomorrow. So that would tell you that there will be a few more. I know there are teams calling around on certain players. We'll see how it shakes out. But, yes, those are the 2 trades that just came down within the last hour. Desmond King to the Titans and Quan Alexander to the Saints.
Okay, let's talk about Quan Alexander to the Saints, linebacker. Anytime somebody saw a linebacker move in trade deadline, your immediate thought is, what is a team that could potentially benefit from a linebacker being traded at the current time? And I think everybody is thinking the Green Bay Packers, not only do they need a linebacker to potentially shore up that defense that gave up 226 yards to Dalvin Cook yesterday, 186 yards before contact in the NFC Championship game, but they also need a weapon. Were they in on the Quan Alexander talks? And also with Will Fuller last week potentially going to the Packers in a trade, was that all bullshit, or have the Packers been trying to make some moves here?
Well, I think the Packers have made some calls, as they should. I never heard them getting close on Quan Alexander. Yes, they've explored the wide receiver market. They should be exploring the wide receiver market. And I think the Texans have been open to listening on all their wide receivers right now. Brandon Cooks, Randall Cobb, Kenny Stills, Will Fuller. I think Houston would be open to moving just about any of them, although Fuller would be the least likely, I think, that they would wind up dealing because of the upside, because of the youth, because of the talent and the potential. I think the other guys are in play. And with Houston's record being what it is, and with that team being without first and second round draft picks this upcoming spring, the Miami Dolphins own those picks, compliments of the Laramie Tunsil deal. I would think the Texans are going to want to try to get back whatever picks they can. And I think when you're selling players this time of the year, though, you have to remember, if you're trading some of those other wide receivers, you're not getting 100 cents on the dollar. You're just not. You're moving on from them because you don't want to pay the salary, because you want to recoup a draft pick. So we've seen other receivers traded in other years. I think Emmanuel Sanders went for a 4 last year. Demaryius Thomas went for a 4 the previous year. Gives you an idea. I know Mohamed Sanu went for a 2 last year, and that was a big price to pay for New England, but you're not getting back usually a first-round draft pick. I don't see Houston trading Will Fuller, but we'll see whether they do.
Okay, so let's stay in the wide receiver lane there, and Green Bay Packers in particular, because we are very close to the Green Bay Packers show here, obviously, with Aaron Rodgers coming on every Tuesday. I believe you just got a text message. Hopefully that'll be able to answer this question. Are there any notable wide receivers, Julio Jones, A.J. Green, maybe Odell Beckham, even though he is currently on IR? Are there any notable headline marquee-like wide receivers that potentially get moved, or is that all talk right now, you think? And are the Packers going to make an all-out play for a wide receiver, you think?
I think that they would be interested, but the question is whether they'll actually do it. And it's hard to give you absolute answers here, Pat, because things change and situations are fluid. I know you want hard answers. Look, I think Green Bay is going to make calls on wide receivers. We'll see whether they get one done. If they trade for A.J. Green, he's not known for his blocking. He's a great receiver. I love A.J. Green. I think he's enormously gifted. Green Bay already has one receiver that's not a huge fan of blocking, and I think they want to run the football there a little bit. So I don't know if that gets done, but they have to be making calls on wide receivers, in my mind. I don't know that they were in on Quan Alexander. So
Shefty, they got to do something. They got to do something.
Listen, they got a chance, and they lost yesterday, and the defense needs to be a bit more aggressive and play tougher and better, and they can use some talent. They can use a wide receiver. They can use a defensive playmaker.
I agree completely, Shefty. Let's talk about in the NFC, because you alluded to it. The Seattle Seahawks got better, okay? The Saints just got better today. The top echelon of the NFC, everybody's making moves. Tampa Bay Buccaneers bringing Antonio Brown. What was the behind-the-scenes conversations? Because as you reported, the Seattle Seahawks were also interested. Pete Carroll even came out and said, we are in this thing. Was there any other teams that you know of that were also interested, or was Antonio Brown and Tom Brady pretty much a done deal?
Well, I think that was the way it was always going to go, Pat. But I think Green Bay made a call to Antonio Brown. I think that they checked in. I don't think it ever went anywhere, but they did check in to see if he'd have any interest in going to Green Bay. And I think if you're Antonio Brown, you probably would rather go to Tampa than Green Bay.
Yeah. Jeez, that's a heartbreak. We got an owner of the Green Bay Packers here who just heard that. And
you know what? Listen. What's the owner's name?
Ty.
Ty?
Yeah.
Ty's got to get on the phone. If you're an owner of a team,
Ty's been on the phone.
Ty's got to get on the phone and make that deal. That's Ty's fault, okay? He's got nobody to blame but himself there, Pat.
Okay, let's talk about yesterday. There was some, obviously, some catastrophic injuries. Ron Stanley just got $100 million and his ankle dislocated. There was another injury that Joe Buck and Troy Aikman wouldn't even show because it was so bad. Are injuries spiking this year, or is it just marquee names getting hurt right now?
Well, a couple of things. First of all, the NFL is on pace to have more torn ACLs this year than they have had in any recent year.
Duh.
And I think that when you come off a year like this has been with COVID, no off-season program, no preseason games, you know that there are going to be a higher than usual number of injuries, and there have been this year. If we go back to 2011, which was the work stoppage for this, when they were locked out with the CBA negotiations, the players came back that year, and there was an incredible spike in the number of torn Achilles. Oh. And it's not accidental that happens. Look, it's a violent game. You know how tough it is. I've seen the tackles you make on special teams there, Pat.
Yeah, goddamn right.
So it's a physical game. But it was always, I know, it was always going to be a situation where there were more injuries this year than there are usually, and that has borne itself out.
All right, last question here before we let you go. I know you're a very busy man. This is a big day. COVID-19 has shown up in the Green Bay Packers organization with A.J. Dillon failing on the day of the game, going and playing the game, and then self-quarantining. I assume the NFL had expected this to potentially happen, or is this completely blindsided everybody, and now they have no idea what the fallout's going to be with a player who had tested positive, playing an entire game, sitting on a sideline, traveling probably together in the locker room, then finding out afterwards. This is kind of like the Justin Turner situation. Are they just keeping an eye on it, hoping that it doesn't spread, or how did this even happen?
Well, essentially, he plays the game and he finds out today that he tested positive. Now, you wonder about all the players he was around. You wonder whether the running backs that he's in the locker room around, that he's friendly with, whether they get it in the huddle. Like he's in the huddle yesterday with Aaron Rodgers. How do we know that Aaron Rodgers isn't going to test positive? I mean, you don't know nobody knows. Okay, now I was on the phone this morning with a team executive, and he was telling me like they can't figure it out because there are players whose wives have had it, and they're sleeping in the same bed, and the player doesn't get it. So they're sleeping in the same bed every night, and they don't get the virus, and yet other people are getting the virus. Nobody knows exactly how it works, and so it's a tough situation.
Who got traded?
Who was it? Who was it? Who was it?
Come on.
Listen.
Come on, Chef.
My insider skills stop at the bedroom door there, Pat.
Chef D, any other big news that we should know about, or are you just should we stay glued to your Twitter account today for any more moves that happen?
We'll see what's going to happen here. It should be a busy day.
All right. Well, have a great day, Chef D. We appreciate you taking time,
Thank
sir.
you, Pat. Appreciate you having me. Be well. Stay safe.
Hey, you too. Legend Adam Schefter. He got 3 text messages and a call while we were talking to him right there.
He's about to break some news.
Something's about to pop off in the Schefter world right there. How about the Packers potentially giving a call to Antonio Brown?
Oh, no.
Love that.
That's a good little piece of information. So now maybe you get off Gunther a little bit. He has tried to make a couple plays. Now, he wasn't in the Quan Alexander conversation, which just took place with the Niners sending him down to the Saints. But, boy, it sounds like Gunther is trying to get better over there.
Okay. I mean, do something. You know? I mean, calling Antonio Brown doesn't do a goddamn thing. Go out and get Julio.
Hey.
Get Julio, damn it. They just need to do something.
It was interesting, though, that Aaron dropped Julio's name on the show last week, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he did. On our show, he said when there's star players like Julio, you do probably change some things whenever you're treating him or whatever. And I didn't even know he said it for some reason. I was pulled a Connor or whatever. I didn't hear what he said. And we moved on afterwards. And I listened to the clip back on Twitter, and I was like, oh, my God. Like, I should have followed up immediately there with Julio. I dropped the ball there. That's potentially the entire conversation right now, today, and tomorrow, if we get that out of Aaron. But now he potentially has COVID and is almost dead because the guy in the huddle with him has COVID. I mean, so that's on me. I want to let you know I still have places to grow in this particular world. But him dropping that Julio was not an accident there by Aaron Rodgers. He's way too smart to do that.
You alluded to it, too. Don't you think, like, when you see that the Seahawks are making moves, the Buccaneers are making moves, Saints are making moves, the Niners are making moves, like, even if you don't want to, don't you have to fucking go out and get better?
No, because we build this team from the draft, okay? We don't need any outside sources coming in here. This is the Green Bay Packers we're talking about. We build from within. Ty?
I'll stay optimistic for the next 27 hours or so, but oh boy, if they don't do anything.
You're going to lose it, huh?
If they don't do anything.
Well, tomorrow, Tuesday, November 3rd, biggest day in America's history, NFL trade deadline time.
I might not vote if they don't do anything.
Whoa, Ty. You shitting me.
Oh, you wouldn't.
What the hell?
Did you see what Javon Williams did to a guy who said that?
Yeah, I did. But I don't think he was registered to vote, and I am, so.
Let's go to Reese in Tallahassee. Reese, what's going on, bub?
Hey, Pat, huge fan of the show. Shout out all the boys.
Oh, shout out to you too, bro.
Shout out.
Appreciate it. We were wondering who's got the better defense right now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Interesting question. I think you have to say the Steelers just strictly because that team's been doing it now for 2 years. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, end of the year last year, they got hot on the defensive side. This year, they've been unbelievable, and they added Ndamukong Suh to that squad. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense is going to be a problem for people. I think they're very good. But that Steelers team literally almost carried an absolute corpse of an offense to the playoffs last year. Just put them on their back and Washington just carried them. Our guy, Duck, okay, quack, 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 quack.
Register to vote.
Duck Hodges, he obviously was undefeated at a time as an NFL quarterback and went out there and did the gig. He threw, I think, 5 interceptions the one game we went to, and they still almost won because the Steelers' defense was so good. That's the type of defense that Steelers' defense is. They are unbelievable. Now, people got yards. The Ravens got yards on them yesterday. The Ravens scored on them yesterday. But whenever a play had to be made, it just feels like that defense will step up and make it. That's like a legendary defense. Will the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense become that? Maybe, possibly. They've been damn dominant, and it's good in the NFC that they have the best defense in the NFC by far. But will they be able to come to the Steelers defense? I'm not sure. I don't think anybody's given it. Now, we've talked about it like 4 or 5 different times now because I watch every Steelers game because we've made a lot of money together, me and the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I can't believe they got points now 2 games in a row. That just doesn't make any sense. That defense is going to be talked about. It is.
Oh, yeah.
Now, they're going to have to go on a run. They're going to have to make it to, I would say, at least the Super Bowl for the defense to really be talked like in the legendary standpoint. And maybe Ben Roethlisberger will be able to do it. But that defense is so good. Will they be able to stop the Chiefs? Nobody knows.
That's the only question.
Can you stop the Chiefs if the Chiefs don't want you to stop them? That's the thing. Like, there's some games where the Chiefs play bad and they look like shit and they lost the Raiders or whatever. And by the way, Raiders, good football team. Hey, good football team. One in Cleveland got a good win. I'm not saying that. But it feels like the Chiefs, whenever they know they have to play, they play. And it's like, will the Steelers defense be able to disrupt that entire thing? I think so.
And the Buccaneers kind of have that same thing the Chiefs have now is, can you stop the Buccaneers? Like, you add Antonio Brown to that offense, is there any stopping Tom Brady and those 4?
And their defense will get stops. If they have to. I mean, hey, the NFL is starting to show who's going to go. You know what I mean?
Up.
And it feels like it is shaping up, isn't it? Yeah, it's like whenever you're forced to take art class and they have that day where they spin the clay.
Ceramics.
Yeah, that thing. You know, it's fucking disgusting or whatever. Why am I doing this? I'm never going to do this again in my life. This serves no purpose for me. But maybe it'll be a good pastime or whatever, and you make a bowl, and then they blast it or something. You know what's going in that background? It feels like the NFL's doing that right now. Like, we're kind of shaping it together, and their shit just falling off. And, for the first time in 20 years, the shit is just falling. New England Patriots.
Whoa.
Not even in the AFC conversation. Not even in the AFC conversation. What's going on, Nick?
As a jaded, cynical Steelers fan, you know what I want? I want the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game so Lev Bell can watch from the sideline when his cheese hamstring pops. And then I want Brady and the Bucs in the Super Bowl so Bob Spillane can pound Antonio Brown into the ground.
They're saying Bob Spillane potentially doesn't play another snap this year because they brought in that other guy from New York.
No one has said that.
No.
That's what they're saying.
No one has said that. No one has said that.
Yeah.
I've heard it.
Spillane through my thick vein. Take a seat, this is gonna feel pain. Just traded for a guy over in New York. He's taking your spot. Oh, of course, Rob Spillane had a good day.
Listen, you can try to rip this team apart like you have in the past, but you're not going to do it.
What do you mean?
Spillane's awesome, by the way. No gloves. Guy had no gloves on yesterday.
Hard nose.
Tape on one of his fingers.
Yeah, first one in.
Have to.
He was awesome. Last one out. Real lunch pail type of guy. You know what I mean? Coach his son.
Grandson of a Heisman winner.
Oh, of course.
Bingo.
2-time second-team All-MAC, baby.
It's a shame.
Why are they replacing him then?
Why are they trading immediately after the game?
You wouldn't know about it because your team stinks.
It's just nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, they do stink right now. 11-5, baby. 4.8% chance of making the playoffs. Let's go.
This guy's dove right back into a nicotine addiction. 1 year, his team stinks. That's like when the Colts fans started showing up with bags over their head whenever when Peyton Manning was getting spine surgery. Or whatever. Like, winningest decade in NFL history, and then we lose like 4 games with Kerry Collins, a quarterback, and they all come in with bags. It's like, oh, come the fuck on. Drive over to Cleveland. You guys, New England, you guys stink.
No.
One time, all your players are sitting now, look at you. Oh, I've been just burning through 2 packs a day because the Patriots stink.
3 on Sundays, but that has nothing to do with it. I'm smoking these butts because it's for the team. I'm trying to bring back the team's grit. I'm trying to bring back the team's power, and the only way to do that is Marlboro 27s, my friend.
Well, not allowed to say that for sure on our show, but the
really?
Yeah, there's no way you're allowed to promote a particular brand of
I'm not promoting. I'm just saying those specifically will get your grit back into place.
Yeah, you just did though. The thought though that you have bought in completely to it takes all of us. I actually kind of respect.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
11-5.
I mean, aside from you trying to take us off the air and all that shit, but you saying that you're smoking all those cigarettes and just ingesting all the cancer that you could possibly handle to hopefully make that team more gritty is the epitome of it takes all of us.
Well, if I take it, then maybe the Pats won't turn into a cancer,
Seems like that's potentially already happened, and its name is COVID.
Oh, no.
Son of a bitch.
22 minutes here into hour 2 here on this Overreaction Monday, November 2nd. Take some phone calls on the other side. Can't wait to hear your thoughts. We have broken some news on the show, I guess. The fact that the Green Bay Packers called Antonio Brown is breaking news.
Yeah,
I guess it is currently going on the internet.
Oh, nice.
Shout out to Shefty, by the way.
Shefty!
Go.
He said, I know you want these hard answers or something like that or whatever. It's good journalism. I fucking put him on his heels.
Yeah, he did.
You know what I mean? He's having a good old lunch over there, getting text messages and phone calls. I'm like, listen, Shefty, tell me whether or not the fucking Packers made a play. And he goes, maybe they called about Quan. Didn't say anything about that they were really in it there. But the Antonio Brown piece of information has to make you feel good.
It does.
Because they at least know that they need something. Because if they potentially had their blinders on and didn't even know that they needed one, then it would be problematic. Do you think Gunther Kuntz has heard your voice, has heard the voice of Packers fans in Ty Schmidt and said, you know what, Ty, you were right?
No, I think he sits up in his ivory tower with his ego and just does whatever the hell he wants.
All right, we'll talk about that on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Sirius XM, Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
The game of the weekend, Steelers at Ravens. Ravens are currently -3.5. Let's see where the money's at here. Michael, you got any thoughts on this one?
I just think, to me, the wrong team's favorite. I think Pittsburgh over the year has played better on both sides of the football. I worry about Baltimore running the football. I worry about Baltimore being explosive to take advantage in their passing game. Pittsburgh knows how to play this team. They really do. They know how to play ball. They did it last year. They took them to overtime in Pittsburgh.
And I'm on the Steelers, too, for all the reasons we talked about earlier. They're 4-0 against the spread their last 4 and 2-0 against the spread away. The road team in the last 7, 5-2 against the spread. The Steelers 8-3 against the spread their last 11 against the AFC North.
Wow, that one's a good one. Pa-boom.
Steelers as a dog 27-2 their last 29 games.
I can tell you why the dog and the road team is so good in the series. We had a graphic up here. It's because it's always the dog is obviously, and the road team is obviously always getting points. And in this series, when you get points, they're always such close games that it favors to take the dog in this series.
I agree.
As long as it stays over 3, as long as you're getting that hook at 3.5, I like the Steelers.
What is it? 4? I have 4 on my board. If it's
Even
4,
better, Mike.
I just hit 4.5 right now on FanDuel.
4.5.
I just bet 4.5 on FanDuel right now.
There you go. I'll take 4.5. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and you are welcome. Let's move.
Grazie, grazie. Patriots, -11. Hammer that thing as hard as you possibly can. I am a guy that moves lines with this bad boy. You know, me and this guy here, this hammer, we've been making money together for a long time. Super, maybe. You whip out your hammer and you swing it, not only like a windmill dunk, like a son of a bitch, but you swing that thing to try to break the button on the FanDuel thing, and you hammer the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It finally made its debut on ESPN, and I'm proud of this fucking office store hammer.
Hell yeah.
I like them all over Baylor. Good hammer OT State #1. Hammer the Red Wolves, +5.5, -14.5, and hammer -34.5 for. didn't think I could continue to be an FCC-regulated person without really hitting my max potential.
And that's why he's with us. I love it. The Pat McAfee Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
Welcome back. Whoa. It is Monday, November 2nd, one day before the biggest day of the 2020 NFL season trade deadline. Tonight, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New York Giants will play the football. Everybody in this building, I believe, thinks that Tom Brady's probably going to stomp a hole in Danny Dimes and the New York Giants. That Tampa Bay defense is going to dominate. Everybody thinks the Danny Dimes offensive line was injured before and bad before. Now it's injured even more. Tampa Bay Buccaneers to cover 12.5. We all feel pretty good about.
Hell yeah.
I think Buccaneers cover 12.5. Just hammered that thing. Now, that'll make me 3-2 on the weekend, which is good news. Need that. Haven't had a losing weekend yet this NFL season, which, is something I was staring down yesterday while watching some of my teams completely collapse. You know what I mean? Diggs hammered Don today at 3:30, youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show, giving out a lot of winners. It was a weekend that was not normal for me, but tonight we get back.
No, this weekend there was a lot of close lines. The wind affected a lot. It was a tough weekend for everyone, and you knew it was going to happen because Vegas got absolutely fucking destroyed last weekend. So.
Oh, see, I should have known they were going to get back. Should have done a little whoopsie daisy on my picks.
Yeah.
I'll remember that going forward. We will be better. Let's get to some phone calls, shall we? From the voice of the people. Let's go to Micah in Louisiana. What's going on, Micah?
What's up, Pat? How are you?
Hey, not too shabby. How are you?
All right. Anyways, that's not why I'm here. I just wanted to let you know that I'm a freshman at Grambling State University. And I just wanted some advice from a future Hall of Famer like yourself on what to expect and what to look forward to in my career. Also, to any NFL GMs and coaches and scouts listening right now, draft me. You won't regret it.
You're a freshman, so why don't you not fuck it up the next 3 years before worrying about a goddamn NFL draft, okay? Please, Micah, unbelievable. Love the mindset, but that's what we need to work on. Maybe a little humility first, Micah. I had to run into a brick wall called humility a couple times in college. It helped me out. You went to Grambling State. Respect. I tried to go there as well. They didn't even look at my tape. Really? I like a good long snapper, though. This kid knows exactly what he wants to be. I think Micah's going to do great things. Crush. I think Micah's freshman already saying, hey, NFL, draft me already. Long snappers never get drafted. Mike is calling his shot. Maybe I like it. Maybe I reacted too negative there because I was like, oh, Micah, get over it. But on the complete flip side, Micah, you already got it, pal. You think you're going to be drafted already as a freshman? And long snappers very rarely get drafted. You're already there between the years. Now you got to do everything right. Don't fail, okay? Stay eligible. Let's do the classes, okay? Let's do the classroom. And then let's go ahead and snap rocks to beautiful. You know you're going to stink some days, okay? You're going to stink some days. Just keep it going, Micah.
Good advice.
Eat some weights along the way.
Yeah, you're going to have to gain some weight. Now, they have changed the rules in the NFL where, you can't really get slaughtered like you used to be able to. They used to just take out long snappers. Long snappers' jobs back in the day, no fun. Just getting ear hold, everything.
Tough life.
Now it's, okay, you snapped the ball well, you can cover good, you're in a good spot. Good for you, Micah. He should not be a college freshman, though, thinking he's telling NFL people to draft him already. But maybe that's part of his charm.
Hey,
maybe that's part of his charm.
He knows.
I don't know, Micah. A little negative there early on you, Micah. Didn't mean to. But, I mean, fucking humility, too, probably.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's go to Jerry in Pennsylvania. What's going on, Jerry?
Hey, how's it going, Pat?
Hey, not too shabby. What do you want to talk about? You're in Pennsylvania. Make sure you vote.
Swing state.
All right, I will.
Make sure you vote.
Start the vote.
Go vote.
Hey, if the Steelers go on a roll here, what would be a better outcome? Replaying the Packers or actually beating Tom Brady in a game that matters?
Oh, great question by Jerry there. Jeez. That was an awesome question by Jerry. I like the way he did and what he did to Diggs' brain right there because Diggs thought that guy was on his side, I believe.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he just kind of dumped all over him.
He's not wrong.
Pittsburgh Steelers, you win a Super Bowl, it doesn't matter how you get there, but what would be a little bit more satisfying, you think, if you had to create your dream road to the Super Bowl there?
Because of Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays, I'd rather beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
But I would love to get fucking revenge for 2012 or whatever.
Yeah, for the Super Bowl that happened down there in Dallas. I do believe Aaron Rodgers won that one.
He did.
Didn't he?
Yeah, pretty good defense that year.
How's the defense this year?
It stinks.
What's that?
It fucking stinks.
Why are you so negative towards that defense,
It's not
dude?
bad.
You know what?
They don't need to trade for anybody. Quan Alexander was just on the block. The Green Bay Packers didn't even want to get him. They don't need him.
They're happy.
Kirksey's coming back.
What are you talking about, dude?
Yeah.
You got to do something. Okay, again, we got to do something. So let's make sure we get it done.
Let's go to Bryce in Montana. What's going on, Bryce? Big Montana show.
What's up, guys? How are you?
Bryce, love your energy. Just hanging out. What do you want to talk about, bub?
Hey, Overreaction Monday here. So big Bronco fan. Like where the offense was looking yesterday, obviously had to fight back out of the comeback there. But what do you guys think future-wise for the Broncos, this young team that we have?
I like Drew Lock a lot. I mean, I don't think anybody knows whether or not he can win a Super Bowl with that squad out there, but I like Drew Lock a lot. Liked him a lot last year. Call that bitch my bodyguard. Yeah, that's my bodyguard. As soon as I saw that video of Drew Lock on the sideline, I was like, oh, they got a guy. They got a guy over there. Then he did something against Houston last year whenever Houston was making a playoff run, went in there and sliced and diced them. Now, yesterday's game, coming back, game-winning drive, had all the pressure on him. I like Drew Lock a lot. Now, on the flip side, we have to talk about the Chargers, who I think have had 17-point leads in like 4 straight games and have lost completely. Justin Herbert, so the Chargers blown leads in the last 4 games. They had 17 points, they lost that. 17 points, they lost that. 16 points, they won that. So it's not really a blown lead if you let somebody else get back in and win it. So SportsCenter tweet, a little bit misguided. How do we feel about SportsCenter social media?
Stick to sports.
Stinks.
I agree.
I don't agree with everything they said, but it is an interest. I had to unfollow it.
They're thirsty in the comments.
I had to unfollow SportsCenter, which is interesting.
They post things that I just don't want to see SportsCenter posted.
But they do numbers, though.
They do.
They do numbers.
For sure. Not a whole lot of highlights.
So do meme accounts.
What happened? They became a meme account. That's
that's exactly what it was.
Yeah, but they're doing the internet. They get big numbers. It's just, for me, I had to unfollow it because it was like, all right, there's already 55 of these. I've seen all of these videos no less than 25 times whenever it hits there. And you always think like SportsCenter is like the, you know what I mean? Growing up in my era, SportsCenter was the
worldwide leader.
What did you go to bed at night with watching? SportsCenter. Would you wake up? SportsCenter. When you got home, TRL, then SportsCenter. You know what I mean? Like the SportsCenter is just like this institution. So I think its social media page doesn't always match up with what the institution of SportsCenter is. Which is shout out to Omar getting his money and everything like that and getting his numbers doing that whole thing. But I had to unfollow it, and it was a tough go for me, by the way.
Not an easy thing to do.
I don't know if I muted it or unfollowed. Maybe I didn't unfollow it because I didn't want, Omar to see me unfollow it if they ever tag me in anything, which they don't, by the way.
No.
But it's
Well,
one
he
of those.
steals people's videos too. So
No, he gives credit. By the way, he gives credit.
In the parentheses.
Yeah, in the parentheses, they say it's from these people. But anyway, SportsCenter social media account a little bit different, and I don't think that's a blown lead if the Twitter account. But anyways, you get it. 21 points, 17 points, 17 points. In the last 3 or 4 games, they've given up these massive leads. And it's an interesting conversation because you immediately have to go, is Justin Herbert the reason why they can't close these games? Is Justin Herbert a guy that can't win these games that they have the lead in? And I don't think that's the case at all. Like, I think Justin Herbert is an unbelievable football player. He made some throws yesterday that were stupid, and stupid in a good fashion, just putting them right on the money. He's tall, he's competitive. It feels like his teammates love him. Now, how it started over there was obviously a golf tee to the lung for Tyrod Taylor, but they're getting and going. But the ability to not close out games, in my eyes, after just watching yesterday. Now, I haven't kept an eye out or as close to this situation here for the last month like it seems like I had to. 4 minutes and 18 seconds, one of their running backs had the ball. He skirted out. I think he got like a first down the left sideline. And instead of getting hit, he jogged out of bounds as if it was the middle of the first quarter or something like that. There was 4 minutes and 18 seconds left. You have a lead. I think they were up 6 or something like that at the time. I forget exactly what it was. They run out of bounds. That seems like such a minuscule thing, but it's like the clock was stopped, okay? There was no timeout spent by the Broncos. They were able to save that for whenever they got down there. And as we watched that game unfold, literally every single second counted. And that's just one little situation that happens with 4 minutes and 18 seconds left where you have to go, well, these motherfuckers know anything about situational football. Do they have any situational awareness? Then you look back and it's 3 of their last 4 games they've lost after having leads of 17 points or more. You got to be like, what is this team doing? They have the pieces. They have the quarterback. It seems like their defense can get stops whenever, throughout the game, but the situational awareness is bad. Not being able to put people away is bad. But if you're the Chargers, for the first time in a long time, you got to think the future's bright, but it's got to be miserable right now. You win, we're happy, we're up, we suck again. Oh my God, we're up 21, let's go, we're going to do this, we suck again. That has to be a heartbreaker for the minimal fans that they have, but at the end of the day, you have to think going forward, we have a chance to be great.
Is that a coaching issue? Because
Yes.
it's the same players that got you that lead So it has to be on the coaches not calling the right stuff potentially.
No, the situational stuff.
Yes,
the situational stuff is 100% on the coaching. Now, granted, should Herbert in that huddle, even though being a rookie, say, "Hey, stay in bounds here, no matter what happens, stay in bounds"? Yeah, he probably should. I don't know if he did. Maybe we'll find out when he's mic'd up. But Matt Ryan told that to a bunch of veterans. Hey, don't score here. Get down, first down and get down, and they still go there. So there's only so much you can do. It's almost like the team has to buy in there. But that guy, nobody said a single thing to him when he ran out of bounds. Nobody, not a coach didn't run over and go like, "What are you doing?" Hey. Not a single player was like, "What are you doing?" It was just like, "Yeah, I just ran out of bounds, stopped the clock, no big deal. Here we go." It's like, what? And I don't even think the commentator said anything. I was like, yo, what are we? That is literally the game right there that you're potentially losing because that one little mistake, and that's why football is the greatest.
Well, and for those teams, right, the Broncos and the Chargers, they have bright futures with young quarterbacks. But does it even fucking matter with the Chiefs in the division and Mahomes? Like, are they going to have any real success?
The Raiders beat them, right? Raiders beat them. The division. Chargers gave them a lot of problems. I think the Chargers defense will give them problems. So, obviously, you got a this is Buffalo Bills with Tom Brady in New England. I mean, there is a chance that happens, but it feels like Drew Lock plays good football. Justin Herbert plays good football. Derek Carr's getting wins. Who knows if they'll stick around with him or what they'll do moving forward. But yeah, the Chiefs being in there is tough for everybody because you look at it as an AFC fan, you're like, the Chiefs are here. Imagine if they were in your neighborhood. It's like, we got the Chiefs here. The big bad wolf is back. Speaking of young quarterbacks, one made his debut yesterday. For the Miami Dolphins. And the Los Angeles Rams went down there to Miami, and I think they got the Tootsie's flu down there. They look terrible. I mean, absolutely. 4 turnovers in the first half, and people were wondering, was that defense, Kyle Van Noy and the boys, rallying around Tua, starting and getting his first start? He showed up in traditional Hawaiian garb. He is now an undefeated quarterback. But he passed for 93 yards yesterday. I think he only had like 170 yards of offense. And he's the first quarterback to win his first career start with fewer than 100 pass yards in 20-plus attempts since Donovan McNabb in 1999. The only thing that matters is they got to win. Gumpy, watching that game yesterday, remember we benched Fitzmagic for this entire thing. Does Tua have signs that he's going to be the guy for the Miami Dolphins, or will they be a team that has to have their defense win games for them?
2 drives, he looked very comfortable. They went up big, and then Chan Gailey kind of handcuffed him. Just hand the ball off, dunk it down. I mean, he's 1-0. That's all that counts.
Why do they keep doing that? Why do they keep doing that? Why does Chan Gailey... It feels like he is potentially a problem on that offensive side of the ball, right? And then they talked about Tua being the perfect person for his offense. And now, granted, they got the W, so that's all that matters. Yeah. But it was impossible to watch Tua yesterday and be like, yeah, this guy's got it or not. Are they going to do that for the rest of the year? Are they just going to handcuff the guy? Are they not going to let Tua play football, Gumpy?
The one thing that really worried me is there was no rollouts for him either, like play actions. They either went handoff or they just put him in the shotgun with no backfield. It was, I don't know. Chan Gailey is a very old man, my friend.
He's 68 years old, and his first OC job was in 1989.
He does not give a damn about how many yards Tua passes for. No. We're just trying to win by 1 point over here. Don't you worry about that.
What do the Dolphins do if they're not sure and that Texans pick turns into a top 3 pick and they can go ahead and take Fields? Do they leave him?
Maybe that's why they did this move to Tua. They're like, hey, listen, are we going to stink or not? I don't know if they're going to have a top 3 pick, though. It feels like there are some other teams that very much suck.
Texans are projected as the number 4 pick right now.
Oh, yeah, because they have the Texans.
Yeah.
That fucking move, by the way.
Man.
Billy O'Brien just sabotaged that place.
They're fucked.
Didn't he?
For so long. They're so fucked.
Billy O'Brien sabotaged that Houston Texans team. And then the players started fighting him, and he got fired, and he's like, well, good luck. And it's almost like he... with a handful of gas and a handful of matches. Still no one found out. He just walked out of that Texans building and was just like,
right here.
Good luck, pal. I don't know who the fuck is going to get this place next, but I took everything from this place's future. I mean, everybody's for sale. Adam Schefter said it. Everybody's potentially tradable because they're going to try to get some draft capital back, I guess, and some cap space in back. They got no shot down there, though, which sucks because Deshaun Watson and J.J. Watt, good guys down there.
Yeah, good guys.
They just got no chance at all. What are you looking at over there, Diggs? Interesting face.
I was looking at the Dolphins draft picks. They have 2 1s and 2 2s next year. But then it just popped up that after the Saints trade, they're going to be $100 million over the cap going into next season.
The Saints are?
Yeah.
It feels like they don't care, by the way. This is the type of team. Listen, Ty's a Yankees fan through and through. So he saw the Yankees do this.
Yeah.
The Yankees growing up, they were willing to do whatever to get a dub. Hey, we will pay somebody $2 billion if that motherfucker can throw a good fastball. We'll get him in here. We're spending the Yankees spent, I think, like 55 times more than like the Pittsburgh Pirates did one season, and that was like a legit. They spent 55 times more money than this team. They would do anything to win. The Saints now, knowing that Drew Brees probably only got a year, maybe this might be his last year, they're going all in trying to get a dub. And if you're a Saints fan, you got to love that. You got to absolutely love that. And then you look around the NFC, and there's another team that has a quarterback who's still got 4 more years left, but is playing at his best ability. And that team is just sitting around, hanging out, making calls, but not too good of calls, and just waiting to see if they could potentially win with what they have. And I think time has told us they do not. And that is the Green Bay Packers.
Doesn't that show, too, that, like, if there's guys that you need to re-sign and stuff like that, you can just fucking do it and then figure it out down there. They're $100 million over the cap. Like, I mean.
That's old cap, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows what the new cap's going to be whenever this thing goes completely down.
The tweet was the Saints now have $276 million allocated to their 2021 salary cap in a season where the league maximum may drop to $175. So I think that's worst case scenario.
Oh, 175 is the lowest? Because didn't we see like 120, 130 at one point? Which, I mean, will be interesting. There's still places that have 0 fans in there.
Yeah.
Buffalo's got 0. They had 0 in there yesterday. Green Bay had 0. I think Aaron said the last 2 weeks we played with some fans in the stands. This week we had nothing. Maybe we lost a little bit of energy from that. And then you look around, there's some places that are looking to have 30,000 in college. They're like, we're going to have 30,000 in here next week for sure. What do you got? You just need 2 little fucking spots off. Yeah.
They don't care.
Hey, look at that. Measure the seats. What are they, 4 inches? Yeah, we did the whole thing. Go ahead and get it. Have any Dodgers players died?
Not yet.
I don't think so.
Justin Turner, that son of a bitch, celebrating a World Series last week.
Well, he saw what we all saw.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking
about. Don't do this.
You know what I'm talking
about.
Don't you dare.
You can't do what you're doing right now. You already tried to ruin us with the whole fucking cigarette pitch.
Fine, you're right. I'll digress. But you know what I'm talking
He's
about.
just trying to drive the attention away from the Pats being dead.
Fans up.
And in doing so, he was trying to make this show be dead with what he's trying to talk about.
Hey, none of those things are dead from the denominator, though.
Well,
What are you doing?
We need a little tag team of trouble over there with your stupid percentages, okay?
This guy gets it.
Oh, man.
Denominator.
What do you think the percentage chances of the Green Bay Packers getting like Julio Jones or something like that?
Probably like 0.0000001%.
But that's enough.
No.
That's enough right there.
That sounded like 1 or 2 zeros too many. That sounded like 1 or 2 zeros too many for what you're trying to die in.
I don't know. That feels like a pretty high percentage.
Oh, yeah.
You guys.
Oh, big percentage show, huh? Let's overreact to some stats we saw. Oh, what? It's on a website from the government. Whoa.
Okay. It's not from the government. This is a world organization, my friend.
Here we go. Listen, Alex Jones.
This isn't anything. I am not AJ, okay? I'm not Alex Jones. Give me a break.
Hey, please.
Denominator.
Everybody that's listening, please.
Thanks, all of us. Oh, and register to vote.
Diggs, what's going on?
I got a question. The city we live in.
No, is this about this? Because
No, it's not. It's not.
Colts 41-21.
Yeah, I mean, they're flying under the radar a little bit, though. What are they, 5-2, whatever they are?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, T.Y. had a little bit of a groin injury yesterday. Are they out on the market looking for a weapon?
Potentially, they should be. I mean, we've been looking for a weapon. They drafted Michael Pittman. That was supposed to add in there. Phillip Rivers said, you look at our record, and you see a couple of plays. They lost the Jacksonville Jaguars week 1 on running right, and he goes, dadgummit, we could be 7-0. And I think that's an accurate statement. The Colts are a very good football team sometimes.
Unfortunately.
And then there's some other times you look and you're like, oh, this team's going to get smoked by any team that's potentially good. But then you look at the defense. They just got Darius Leonard back. Phillip Rivers is throwing the ball all over the yard. They got some running backs that really run hard. What's that?
To both teams.
No, not yesterday. Not yesterday.
When the defense is playing like that and Phillip doesn't turn the ball over, that team looks really good.
Yeah, they look unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's like, for me, the Lions did look bad, but they were potentially going to go on a hot streak there. Everybody thought.
We were way too hot going into that game. All right, we were on a win streak. We had to get humbled a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. And Colts coming out of a bye week, nobody really nobody knows what the Colts are. And I'm going to say I live in Indianapolis. I don't know what the Colts are. Like, I have no idea. Would not bet on them yesterday. Have no idea what to expect. I don't think anybody does. But if Phil continues to play the way and doesn't have turnovers, And maybe during the bye week, he took a good look at whenever I throw 7 interceptions, we're in a bad spot. But when I don't, we win. Which, by the way, Phil could have done that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It feels like the Colts are a team that could fly under the radar like the Titans did last year.
Yeah.
The Titans last year, until they beat Baltimore on the road in the playoffs, nobody knew they were a team, and then obviously they do their thing a little bit there. But the Colts feel like a team that could go on a run. Could they ultimately beat the elite teams, though? I don't know. I'm excited to see. I'm pumped to see it, and I think Colts fans are happy to see that they're having success. But once you get up to that upper echelon of teams, it's like who can win and who can't. There's only a few teams I feel like, and hopefully the Colts will be in there.
So if you're comparing to the Titans, what you're saying is Mariota had to get out and then Tannehill to come in. You're saying Rivers has to get out and Jacoby has to come in, and then they go on a run like
No. Philip Rivers, listen, Philip Rivers is their guy. Okay, Philip dadgummit, they could be 7-0. Philip Rivers said that.
Has Rivers ever beaten the upper echelon teams, though?
Well, there was that one year
time,
he was supposed to go into Foxborough just a few years ago, and this was supposed to be the end of the dynasty, and I think the Patriots won by 50.
Yeah, beat the brakes off him.
Yeah. But there was a year where he and Mike Cyphers beat the Peyton Manning-led Indianapolis Colts in the playoffs, and I got hired the next year because of it, 2008.
And then they lost the next game, correct?
Yeah.
So
But it's not just Phil, by the way. It's the whole team.
Yeah, for sure. But
there's teams that are built to go on the long run, which is why I think you see Ty so mad right now, because there's games that happen where you look at that Packers team and you're like, oh, they're not built to go for it. Because at the end of the year, when there's only 7, I would say, well, there can't be an odd number of teams left because it's a fucking tournament. But when there's 8 teams left, those teams are teams. So it's like, cool, can you get us to there? But when you start looking at a team as like a gambler or like a fan, I would assume does, it's like, can our team beat those teams? And can our team make a move right now before the trade deadline that could automatically put us in there? There are a couple teams that could. The Colts getting another weapon would be awesome, and that would help out Ty who it's been reported he had a groin, but it's not as serious as it was originally talked about. Ian Rappaport says good sign on T.Y. Hilton. That groin injury doesn't seem to be major. That's good news. Stephen Holder of The Athletic, Colts coach Frank Reich starting his Monday update. Ashton Dillon and T.Y. Hilton both will be under observation as the week proceeds. Who the fuck talks like that?
Observations.
What is that? Is that what Frank Reich? If that's what Frank Reich said, I'm out on
Frankie.
T.Y. and Ashton will be under observation as the week proceeds. Is that a robot speaking? Or is that,
it has to
no
be.
firm details there. Rocky Sin was checked for a concussion but was cleared. He's good. Okay, so...
That's Coach speak.
I don't think so. I don't think that's coach speak at all. That sounds like doctor speak. Frank Reich, good for Frank Reich. Put that back up there. What was the quote?
Is he good for Frank?
He will proceed will be under observation as the week proceeds.
There isn't quotes on it, so it wasn't quote unquote, right?
It's true. Hey. Zeta.
Wow.
Good call there.
Hey, brain stuff.
Way to read not only between the lines, but the actual lines.
And the outside lines.
So that's Stephen Holder probably paraphrasing what he was talking about. Stephen Holder, great writer, obviously very intelligent, much smarter than us. I would never have worded anything that way, but I also dropped out of college. So
so did Zuckerberg and Bill Gates.
Maybe this guy should have
Kanye West and Albert Einstein.
How about that?
At Viva Lazito here before we get out of hour 2. Which has been a good time. We broke some news, had some good conversation. Feel like we've talked about a lot. Zito, your big-ass poll for today was what, and what are the current standings?
With over 22,000 votes.
Whoa.
Let's not make a big deal about it.
Oh, we're making a big deal of it.
It's huge. Big deal. Who's the best team in the NFL right now? It's actually pretty funny. We'll just get rid of the last 2 teams. It has been a head-to-head match right here. Chiefs and Steelers. Steelers right now, 43.4%. Chiefs, 43.1%. It's been going back and forth all day. It's crazy.
The Seattle Seahawks fans have not woken up yet. They will come into this thing in the third hour. They only have 10.9%. And the Bills somehow make it onto this poll, which, by the way, good for Bills Mafia, only at 2.5%. A lot of people thinking maybe the Buccaneers should be in there. They don't have 6 wins
yet. They should win tonight.
And so tonight they could potentially get in the next poll. Steelers at 43.4%, 7-0, only undefeated team. And the Chiefs 7-1, 43.1%. Those are both AFC teams, right?
Yeah.
And this is exactly what we're referring to whenever you talk about the Indianapolis Colts. It's hard to talk about other teams in the AFC because, at the end of the day, we're trying to tell stories here. We're trying to do season-wide storylines.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that's what a daily show is. You keep up with things, you do storylines, you kind of keep it moving. And whenever you talk about the AFC, there's only a couple teams at the top, and they just so happen to be probably the two best teams right now. When you're talking about the Steelers, you're talking about the Chiefs. The Ravens still in that conversation, even though they lost to the Steelers yesterday. And you kind of look around. That's why the Colts, if the Colts can get moving in there, you're like, okay, maybe the Colts can get up in there and surprise somebody. The Bills somehow still on that pole. Maybe they can get hot and surprise somebody, even though they should have blown out the Patriots yesterday, and they still let the Patriots in. And when the Patriots are out, everybody and COVID's run a gangbang on the entire happiness of the roster. There's only a couple teams. In the NFC, it feels like the same exact way. So now you're just building up those storylines. Who will be able to crack in? Are the Arizona Cardinals going to be able to do the trick? If Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury still getting hot, will they be able to crack into the NFC's conversation? Because right now it's Seahawks, Saints, Packers. That's the conversation on the NFC. And in the AFC, it's Chiefs, Steelers, and Ravens, I guess.
Yeah, Ravens just about it.
I guess that's it.
Well,
no. What if the Giants get hot, though?
They might.
The Giants might get hot. Maybe the Philadelphia Eagles get hot. They won by 14 last night. Nobody would have guessed they would have won by 10.5 fucking points last night.
Ben DiNucci looked good.
Oh,
too.
DiNucci did look good.
Yeah.
Sidearm. Little submarine. Yeah, he took that son bitch sideways.
I get the Bills being up there because the Chiefs and Steelers are both very balanced. They're very good on offense and defense. The Bills are very bad on both offense and defense. So it makes sense that they're up there.
And 6 wins, 1 and 6 wins.
I mean, it was a bad poll today.
The numbers are doing well, though.
Who's more fraudulent, the Bears or the Bills?
What was that supposed to mean?
Bears.
No, Bills.
You don't even know what it means.
I don't know what it means.
Bears have better wins, though. Bears beat the Bucks.
Yeah.
The Bills, they got blown out by the Titans.
Yeah,
exactly.
The Bears. Yeah. So whenever we. Oh, yeah, what you're saying is that the Bills are more fraudulent?
Yeah, because the Bears have better wins than the Bills do.
Yeah, but the Bears don't. They're going to have another quarterback controversy within the next week or two. I mean, they don't. At least the Bills know that they got Josh Allen, and they did beat the Patriots, right?
Yeah, they did.
And the Patriots are really good.
The Patriots are something else. Yeah, they are.
That fucking Patriots team. I don't know how they did not. How did the Bills not cover?
No Gilmore, no Edelman.
It was at 4.5, then it was at 4, then it was at 3.5. In all those numbers, I was like, yeah, I like it. I like it. The Bills have to come out here and do it. They got to win. That's all they care about.
Barely.
But boy, if Cam Newton holds that ball in his left hand, not in the right hand,
then what happens?
That game probably goes to overtime, and who knows what happens.
Or, I mean, we
might
sneak one out. There's still 20 seconds on the clock, and it's first down.
And Bill will rub one out up there in Buffalo.
Oh, yeah. He loves doing that.
Let's go to Tyler in Michigan. What's going on, Tyler?
Hey, Pat. Hi, boys. My question was, first off, big Broncos fan, so I'm looking at Drew Lock here and those dance moves. What do you think of those dance moves?
I love it. That means he's comfortable in there. It means he's got a lot of swagger, doesn't take himself too serious. All great traits of some great quarterbacks. So I'm a big fan of the way Drew Lock. I actually said earlier in the show that as soon as I saw him lip sync Jeezy, I knew that the dude was going to be legit. I like him a lot. Will he be enough to take that team on a deep run in an AFC that is very, very top-heavy? Not 100% sure, but we will find out. We will find out. There's a lot of protein powders and protein shakes on the market, but none are like True Fit by RSP Nutrition.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Created by a former college football player, True Fit is packed with the highest quality grass-fed protein, plus so much more. True Fit also contains fruits and veggies, MCT. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. True Fit also contains fruits and veggies, MCT oil, fiber, and probiotics. It is everything your body needs and nothing you don't. You can take True Fit for a post-workout muscle recovery shake or a healthy anytime snack like I do with the chocolate. I just did it earlier as a nice meal replacement. It has no artificial stuff, fillers, or ingredients that you can't read. It's all good stuff. Also, if you're looking to shed some pounds, you can take a meal replacement because it has all the nutrients your body needs. Special deal right now for listeners and watchers of this show. Get 20% off True Fit with code McAfee when you go to rspnutrition.com and use code McAfee. You'll get 20% off. If you're looking for best protein shake on the market, get True Fit today and let me know what you think. I love them. Big fan of them. Also love this show. We got a break. We're back on the other side with AJ Hawk. This is the Pat McAfee Show. I'd also potentially taken over their 30 edibles because I thought more teammates of mine were going to want to indulge in that either before the game or after the game. And to get to London, you go through your own TSA here. The team has TSA that you have to check in. Here's my passport. The Colts already have it. They took it all from everybody. It's literally you get your bags checked and then you're through. put them in a little thing. We're good to go. It's team's TSA. Get on the bus, fly over there. I forgot all about them. Didn't utilize them at all because how things quickly changed.
Right.
After we lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars, we're on the team bus. They go, hey, we're going through Heathrow Airport through the real-life TSA. And at that moment, I look around. I go, oh, no. I have some things in my bag right now that have vitamins in them. I have to get rid of them. And at that point, I'd whittled it down to like 15 of them. And I look at Vinatieri, and I'm like, buddy, not good. He's like, what are you going to do? I was like, I guess I'm just going to throw them away in here. Couldn't do that because right next to the trash can was an English police officer. So I couldn't just walk up and dump a bunch of edibles into the thing next to the guy. He's going to ask questions. We're going to the Heathrow Airport. Now I got to do what I got to do. We finally get there. Police escorts, a lot going on. So I just take down 13 edibles.
Yikes.
See you later. Vinatieri looks at me and goes, how you doing, bub? I was like, good now, but things are about to happen. He goes, I got you, little buddy. I'm like, thank you. So we go through the little check-in thing. And right before we get to the scan of the bags thing, it all hits me. I might as well have been on Cloud 45 over there in London. They check my bag, boom, boom, boom. I get selected. Something was in my bag. So now all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, did I leave a couple in there? Oh my God. Vinatieri starts walking ahead. He turns around, he's like, what's going on? I'm like, they got my bag, man. He's like, what's going on? I'm like, I have no idea. So he comes and stands with me. He's like, I got you, bub. I was like, they might got me, for real. I might be staying the night in England. They go through my bag. Turns out, had a vibrating toothbrush. Thing was vibrating in my bag.
Yep.
They're like, oh, it must have been this. Or it must have been my big-ass toothpaste because you can't fly with that. I was like, you got it, pal. I get all the way back to the plane. Lost my ticket somewhere. Somehow I don't have a ticket. So now I got to check into the gate people that I don't have a ticket. I'm like, I'm on this plane. I promise I am, but I don't have a ticket. They're like, what's your name? I'm like, Patrick McAfee. McAfee? No, yeah, whatever you want to call me. I just need a ticket. So now I have to sit there and wait as somebody brings me a ticket from the front while my entire team walks by me, knowing that I'm on Cloud 50, just having a good time. Grigson walks by, just upset, obviously. I wish he would have known that I was in a mood where he should have talked to me there. It was just a nightmare. The London trip for me from beginning to end was not good, and I think that happens for a lot of NFL players.
Last night I was roaming around Canal and Bourbon, and there was a lot of purple. And when you get that Mercedes-Benz Dome, and it starts getting loud and it gets rompous, obviously, not only for momentum and swings like that it can help, but for the defensive line to get a jump. I think that is a big deal. A lot of freak athletes on the field, and kickers are a spectacle no matter what happens. Whenever you're in those high-pressure moments, you normally fall back on your fundamentals. You normally fall back on your technique. You try to take your brain out of it. Cade York hits a beautiful ball.
One person up in the parking lot. Warming up right now, there's just three dudes in suits breaking down every single move he makes during his warm-up. What a wild scene here for Trevor Lawrence.
Quarterback, number 9, Joe Burrow.
You're supposed to be some draft expert, and you say Joe Burrow was a 5th-round draft pick before this year. Now he's number 1 overall. What do you know? What do you know, Todd? You are so handsome, it's ridiculous. What do you think has been happening in this first quarter? Why has Joe Burrow been stumped by this Clemson defense?
I think Brent Venables is the best DC in the country, and it's honestly not a shock to me. He did this to Tua last year.
Odell Beckham just stopped by.
Odell's very excited.
Hey, Odell's happy with the 52-yard attempt coming from the kid from Clemson. I've seen Odell make this with a spinning ball, and BT Potter puts it through from 52 in Odell's. It wasn't in your face. It wasn't in your face. You weren't looking at it.
That's a career high for BT Potter.
Bro, imagine Joe Burrow just having to stand in there and know that Isaiah Simmons is scot-free right in your suckle. No chance Alberto Riverrod would turn that
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. Here we are, Sirius XM, Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio. Hour 3 kicks off right now. A lot happening in the NFL world, a lot to overreact to, and a lot more of your phone calls. Joining us now, a legend from The Ohio State University, Green Bay Packers Super Bowl champion, AJ Hall. AJ, I have a question for you. Whenever you watch one player go for 226 yards on the team that you used to play for, the team that you're still a fan of with a lot of friends, do you ever think about strapping on those oversized shoulder pads, putting on that CTE-like helmet, and going back out there and trying to stop the run for the Green Bay Packers? That was a heartbreaker yesterday. Everybody on earth knew Dalvin was going to get the rock, just couldn't do a damn thing about it over there in Lambeau.
Yeah, I guess, it was a showcase of what Dalvin Cook could do, but I know you guys are worried and you want the Packers to go trade for all these players. Christian Kirksey, is he going to be back? Well, I don't know if he's going to be back this Thursday, but he's on his way back. So he's a guy that they added in the middle. I think will be a big help once he gets back in.
Yeah, I think so. I think it would be. I mean, he's hurt all the time, though. Yeah, that's kind of the problem. Played the first game of the year. He's been on IR since.
Hey, what's the best ability, AJ?
Durability.
Or availability, and the motherfucker hadn't had either of them.
Yeah.
So, the thing about him is he was probably a great player. They did bring him in or whatever. But everybody's expecting the Packers to make some sort of move. Now, after the season last year, I hammered home this stat about the 186 yards before contact, because watching that Packers team lose that game to the Niners, as somebody who doesn't really have that high of a football IQ, okay? It's not like I'm out here fucking just breaking down plays saying, oh, this guy needs to scrape over this guy. And I don't do that. I just watch that game and I go, okay, you're in the NFC Championship game. How do you get one game further? Well, it seems like what you need to do is figure out how to stop the run. Will this team ever be able to do that is the question. And will they just run into the same problem at some point when a big game comes along and the team has a good run game? That's a real problem, I'd assume, at this point.
Well, and I know it is just from such a fan's perspective, and you talk about maybe leveraging their future success, but they are so close. They're very close. Rodgers' window is closing. You don't know how good you're going to be after he's gone. So why not attack it right now and try to go win this thing? They are one of the best teams in the NFC, but they have to get better.
AJ, everybody in the NFC that's at the top of that chart has been making plays. The Saints this morning traded for Quan Alexander. They give up Kiko Alonso. Then you look what happened with the Seattle Seahawks with Carlos Dunlap, they were trying to get Antonio Brown, and allegedly, breaking news as of today from Adam Schefter, the Green Bay Packers were also in a conversation for Antonio Brown. Antonio obviously ends up going down to Tampa, but speaking of that, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are adding players to make their team and their roster better at the halfway point here. It's very interesting to see what the Green Bay Packers do, if anything, before tomorrow, because not only is that a big storyline for this show, because Aaron Rodgers Tuesday has been absolutely awesome and cool, but also for the NFC in general. It's like, if they choose not to get better, are they getting worse?
Well, they're a confusing team to watch, aren't they? I mean, obviously Aaron played well enough to win. The offense, I think, did enough to win. But with their defense, it's just inconsistent. I think sometimes they look great, and sometimes they're getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They're stopping the run. They look all right. And then they have games like this. So I think that's what scares everybody, because we remember what happened in the NFC Championship last year.
And so I've been told by a lot of people that know the football better than me that the run stopping is a lot of will. Now, granted, you got to be disciplined. There has to be a lot of gap discipline, but it's a mindset, right? And you just said it's inconsistent. What is that? Is that the locker room? Is that the coach? Is that just the scheme? Is that the who they're playing? How do you continue to have the will to want to stop the run and not have that happen? Because everybody on earth knew Dalvin Cook was getting the rock yesterday, and he just continued. 70% of their offense was through that one guy. It's everybody knows it. Is it will? What is it? Is it scheme?
It's usually a combination of all of those things, of not having the right players in the right place, and then the scheme. Is it too confusing? That's always the question. Are we asking too much of these guys? That's something the D coordinator will usually evaluate every single day of the week. Like, okay, is the package too small? Do we need to pare down the game plan? What are we doing here? I'm sure Pettin's been losing sleep trying to figure it out. I don't know exactly what's wrong. Nobody does. I mean, if they did, they would find a way to fix it.
They drafted Jordan Love. They traded up to draft Jordan Love. I don't think they were.
That's not the coach's fault. The coaches had nothing to do with any of that.
Okay, but you just said nobody's trying to fix it. It's like, do any of us?
Oh no, I just mean fix your run defense.
Okay, not like the whole problem. All right, got it.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's on me for misunderstanding. Here we are on Overreaction Monday, and that's an overreaction, I think, by all of us here for the Green Bay Packers, because the same thing that knocked them out of the running for the Super Bowl last year showed up yesterday, and it's Overreaction Monday, so we kind of have to. And the trade deadline's tomorrow, so it's kind of been built up. But the Packers aren't the only team that pissed off their fans. I put something out on Twitter earlier today. I said, hey, Overreaction Monday, but I kind of want to get a voice of the people on Twitter for their overreactions. There's a lot of fans saying a lot of people are dead. There's a lot of teams thinking their team's going to win the Super Bowl. Overreaction Monday is my favorite thing. AJ, I want to go through a couple of these ones from Twitter with you to see if you agree with them or not. The first one comes from our guy in Pittsburgh, I do believe. Foxy, do you have these? It's Ox Daddy. He's Mike the Exterminator.
Yeah.
He's an old friend of ours. He's from Pittsburgh. He goes, the Steelers are nasty and the Brownies still blow. Joe Burrow is good, but Lamar can't throw. I would ring in my poem, but you have many callers. I'm just a recovering addict like your boy D. Waller. Bars, by the way. There's a little bit of an overreaction, possibly. I believe AJ's getting a phone call in the middle of this whole thing. But the Pittsburgh Steelers fans are very, very confident in their squad, 7-0. And I think that is the voice of an entire fan base, except for the guy that's in our office, by the way. Mm-hmm. Diggs thinks the team stinks.
Yeah.
Homer. Diggs, you said, didn't he say it?
He
said it earlier. Diggs said, I said, man, that Steelers team looks unbelievable. Diggs goes, do they? Question mark. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then by the way, a lot of the reaction from Pat, I won't overreact, but was like Steelers are going undefeated. Everybody's talking about that. Diggs, you're very optimistic, or not? You're a little like pessimistic about the entire thing. Is that just like you trying to jinx yourself, like jinx?
Well, yeah, I'm a big jinx myself guy, but things are going too well. Something bad eventually is going to happen, and I would prefer if they lost a game here sometime soon. That'd be nice, just to get that off the back and let's just carry on with our lives.
Nobody expects to go undefeated.
No.
I mean, it's damn near impossible. But Chase Claypool is saying losing. Never heard of her, dude.
Yeah.
The locker, and then Ebron, I think, even quote tweeted and was like, basically like, that's what we do. He's dancing on everybody's grave. It's like, let's go. I'm all in on the Steelers going undefeated, both against the spread and outright if they want. They've been a money train if you've been gambling on them. Yeah. They got points the last 2 weeks. It makes no sense. I would assume it's going to be different this week. I don't know who they play. The Cowboys. They're going to be giving up a lot. Just keep riding with them, though. That team is very, very good. And if feels like a good game for Roethlisberger maybe to get back in it. All right, I'm playing a defense that doesn't try all the time. They kind of fucking stink. Just got rid of everybody. Boom. This is the weekend to maybe hammer the Steelers even more so.
If there's one person I'm not worried about,
but Diggs says no. Diggs says no. Stay away, Diggs.
No,
that's what you said.
Things are going too good in my life for football, so it's something bad's going to happen. That's all. Diggs,
this is the new you, dude.
Don't curse
Things
your team.
go good. Yeah. This is the way it is.
The ego on you to think that your life has any impact on professional football.
I've worn the same shirt every single game, and that might be it.
And by the way, Steelers undefeated this decade.
It's a Shaleev shirt.
When you wear
the Ryan Shazier Shaleev shirt.
Wow. Yeah, Steelers know. Because they wake up in the morning, and the first question that Tomlin asks, Mike Tomlin, head coach, he goes, what shirt's that fucking Italian kid wearing? And they say, he's wearing the Ryan Shazier Shaleev. He's like, that's why. We're going to play today.
Time to go.
We're going to play today. Hey, Jordan Berry, you're going to punt the ball far today, okay? Boswell, you're going to make a lot of kicks today, okay? That defense, you're going to pick off Lamar Jackson 45 times because there's an Italian kid in Indiana wearing a Shaleev shirt. That's exactly what happens. Don't you ever take that shirt off.
Listen, who says it's not? Hey, who said it doesn't affect it?
Takes all of us.
Takes all of us.
Welcome back, AJ. You got a phone call there. Maybe with some inside breaking information, no?
No, just a weird, I don't know what's going on with FaceTime.
It's probably somebody calling you or texting you telling you to vote.
Yeah, make sure you do.
I got a question for you, though. If someone asks me to vote and I say, okay, who are you voting for, ma'am or sir? And they tell me, I say, all right, I will vote for the opposite then. I'm voting for the opposition. You think they still want me to vote?
Only one way to find out.
Like, are you still like on your high horse wanting me to vote? If I say, yeah, I'm going to vote, but I'm going to vote for whoever you do vote. Like, I will vote the opposite of you.
You would piss off. might be a war. Like, you might actually.
But you don't want me to vote then?
No. Listen,
Need to.
You need to vote, okay? But that might be like a Pac-Man in the airport type situation where he's holding his Popeyes and the person goes. That might be on site if you were to do that. It feels like that is a chance. Now, I don't know enough about the political community, okay, or the atmosphere or the environment, but whenever videos from that particular thing make its way into my internet, you see, when it makes its way into my internet, and I watch those things, it feels like tensions are rather high, yeah. And I think if you said that, if you said what you just said right there, there might be a slap directly to that jaw of yours. It might feel good, by the way, to get back into the CTE thing that you've been missing.
This is my issue, though. Like, everyone that's telling me to vote, they obviously have a candidate that they feel very, very strongly about, and they most likely hate the other candidate, right?
Yes. Yeah, I do believe that.
Nail on the head.
I do believe that is how it goes.
So do you want me to? Should I vote or should I not vote? What is it?
Well, see, I think, I think
you should vote. I want you to vote if you vote for my person.
Well, I think they're just assuming that you feel the same way they do. That's why they're saying it to you. Like, I think that is kind of like hey, I feel like you and I are so. And then, by the way, the bomb, if you go, oh, is that right? Well, I'm actually going this way. The war, you might lose a friendship forever, by the way. I've been here, and this is only from the shit that makes it into my internet. And it might be fake news or whatever. There are families being ripped at the seams because of what's going on right now. Like, it is getting insane in the world. And that's why it pays to be stupid, by the way. Like, that's why it's very nice to have my lane and just stick with it. But boy, there's some real shit popping out there. And all we want to make sure is that you've already
registered to vote.
And tomorrow, you make sure you see what Big Zito's poll is, and you vote on that thing.
You go and vote.
Right now. You go vote on that.
You go vote. We go vote.
Zito, how is your poll doing?
It's doing pretty well.
How many voters? Was there any early voters?
There was. We've been open up for 3 hours now. Over 24,000 votes.
Every vote counts, by the way.
That's right.
Every vote counts whenever you're talking about 24,000 votes. Go ahead. Is there any swings potentially to happen here?
Yeah, so the poll was who's the best team in the NFL right now. Bills are last place, 2.5%. Wonder why. Seahawks, 11.1. But the most important candidates here today, Steelers, Chiefs. Steelers, 43.5. Chiefs, 42.9.
Shout out to the Seahawks who are representing the Libertarians and the Bills that are kind of the Green Party in this particular case. Steelers, Chiefs, both from the same conference battling it out for who the best team is. Steelers 43.5, Chiefs 42.9%. We didn't have the Buccaneers in there because Zito made the call by himself that teams had to have at least 6 wins, and we assume Tampa will tonight. Do you think now you can keep the Bills in, we'll just say, do you think 4 of the top 5 teams are in this list if the Buccaneers are here? AJ Hawk?
What do you mean are you telling me if you add the Buccaneers, who do I take out of this list?
Yes. Well, and also, do you think that is an accurate representation of the top of the NFL right now, 8 weeks into this thing?
I mean, maybe. I just think right now we don't know. That's the thing. Week to week, I don't know the identity of most of these teams. The Steelers, they look like the old school Steelers. Like, this is what we do. We play solid defense. We roll. Ben plays solid. He's a big dude. He's gonna be durable all year. That's the Steelers. Other than that, though, do we know who anybody is?
Chiefs.
Can't confirm.
The Chiefs are who?
We do.
Yeah, the Chiefs, we know who the Chiefs are. I think, to be honest, I think the Buccaneers, we know what they are. I think we know what the Buccaneers are.
But the Buccaneeers are weirred because the Buccaneers, I feel like, are only going to get better and better. Like, each week, they should continue to get better and better and better. And I don't know if you can say that about everybody else.
Well, that's what we know about them. Like, what we know about the Buccaneers, well, their identity is that they're a good team, and they're only going to get better. Like, that's what we know about them. The Steelers, old school look. If Ben Roethlisberger can get back to form, even though he's calling plays in the dirt during the thing, they're going to get back. I think there are teams that we know at this point. Like, teams we don't know, by the way, that might make an outside run at this thing. What if the Arizona Cardinals fucking go? Like, you know what I mean? Especially with what happened with the Rams here down in Miami yesterday. What if the Arizona Cardinals go? We have no idea.
How did Miami win that? How did Miami win that game?
Turnovers, 4 turnovers in the first half. Big turnover battle. But Tua Tagovailoa, I think, had a massive part of that entire thing. Gumpy, our resident Dolphins fan, pumped about the future with Tua. Ain't that right, Gump?
Threw an absolute seed for a 6-yard tutter, AJ.
Yeah, did you see that thing?
In traffic.
Yeah, a guy got a 6-yard tutter. He actually was, and by the way, he was pumped. I like his emotion. But Chan Gailey just decided not to let him do anything, which was wild move. But hey, got the W, so nobody cares.
The team rallied around him, AJ. That's what you want out of your quarterback.
Absolutely. Team rallied around a guy that was a rookie, big hotshot name coming in here, and he's replacing that probably the most beloved quarterback in the NFL right now.
Oh, wow.
By far.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe, though. We don't know because the way that team showed out for Tua, maybe they're like, hey, we love Fitz, but we also love this guy. He plays ukulele. He can sing. He sing. Yeah, there's a lot to love about this guy. And we'll just have him, only have like 93 yards passing. We'll do the rest. Have one touchdown. Don't worry about it. We'll just win games because the Patriots are dead. And the Patriots are dead. I guess 4 teams since 2010 have made the playoffs after starting 2-5.
Bingo.
Which is a statistical stat that you get it.
4.8% chance.
You would sit on 4.8% chance. By the way, is a very high percentage if we start talking percentages in the world today.
Massive. That's a big enough percentage, really, if you think about it, to shut down the entire world.
All right. Okay. All right. So
come on.
There's just no reason for that. But if you're in the AFC East, you really got a shot because the Buffalo Bills they won that game, which is awesome, but they didn't just bury the Patriots. It feels like Bill Belichick is going to be able to keep them in games, but the Buffalo Bills or the Miami Dolphins, if you're looking at it, who's the future of the AFC East or number 1 overall pick? I mean, there's a lot to talk about in the AFC East, and Tua had a pretty good debut, I guess.
How do you feel about Josh Allen? Are you still pretty high on him?
I do like Josh Allen. I like him a lot. Yeah, he ran one in, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Which I said to, guy could get loose out there. He can run. Will Josh Allen win him a Super Bowl? I think he can. Hey, I think he can. I like Josh Allen. I've just come around completely. I don't think he's in the MVP conversation. I don't think he ever was this season, but I think at some point he will be. Now, Bills Mafia was killing me early for not having him in the conversation alongside Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, and the boys. Aaron obviously played a great game. Just couldn't cut a break because the other guy had 226 yards. Russell Wilson played unbelievable, and we'll talk about him immediately after this conversation. I just think since Josh Allen got so much better than he was last year, and last year he got so much better than he was his rookie year, that the development got Bills Mafia very, very excited, and I think he'll continue to do that. So I think in a couple of years he'll be that guy, maybe next year, or maybe by the end of this year. I'm not 100% sure. But there was a couple moments yesterday where I was like, come on. And there's been a couple games here in the last couple of weeks where you're like, come on, Josh, fucking take over the game right now. This is a time where you can throw the ball further than every human to ever walk this earth. Troy Aikman said whenever he heard the ball come out of his hand, it was like something he's never heard before or something. Like, just be the guy. He should be a guy, and I think he's on his way.
Yeah, I think he's on his way. I feel like almost as fans, we're so used to seeing this just absolute spectacular quarterback play recently that we almost expect too much out of these guys.
I think so.
They make it look easy when it's the toughest position in all of pro sports is to be a quarterback, especially to play at an elite level, on a consistent basis. That's the hardest thing to do. And we just feel like, oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh, he's got 11 monsters coming after him trying to kill him. There's nobody open, but yeah, come on, man, you got to make that throw.
It is because it looks so easy. Because the throws always look magical by people. But if you talk to what Travis Kelce said last week, he's like, Pat Mahomes makes better decisions than anybody else right now. He's made the decisions that have to be made and the things that have to be calculated that go into that. By the way, which is what I'm alluding to. I wish Josh Allen would be that guy. Because there are players that do it, and there's some guys that maybe are a little bit slower in their either reads or decision making, or choose to make the wrong decision. Just hold the ball while a guy is about to sack you, and just start directing traffic and just take a fumble right there, and still somehow win by 14 points, and it doesn't matter because the other team is led by a guy that's throwing a submarine ball to a player that's out of bounds. I mean, there's just there's differentiators between the quarterbacks, I just want Josh Allen to be that guy because I think he could be, but I think it's all in between the years, you see. I do believe that's potential.
For Bills fans, though, I think what Bills fans have to feel pretty good that they don't need Josh Allen to win the MVP for them to make a run at the Super Bowl. We know the Seahawks, Russell Wilson has to play out of his mind, at least right now, before they shore everything up defensively. for them to probably to make a run at it. But for the Bills, I feel like they're a balanced team. Their defense can play, and Josh Allen just stays steady, man.
Russell Wilson was awesome to watch. I mean, there was one play. There was one play yesterday where he rolled out to the right, was looking around, and then he crow hopped one back across the body. I think the DK, and it was only like a 12-yard gain or something like that. But he might have thrown that thing like 65 yards from where he was standing to it, and it was just on a rope. He is unbelievable at football. Now, this is just 1 week removed from throwing 3 interceptions, by the way. And there was a lot of people asking, like, Russell Wilson, has he completely lost it? Like, has he forgotten how to throw the ball to his team? You know, like, there was a lot of people saying that type of stuff. And here we are 1 week later, just 4 touchdowns, unbelievable. And when Nick Mullins came in and made it a little bit closer, he stepped on the throat and scored a touchdown walking right down the field. He's so good at football. It's unbelievable. The only thing in his life that he's better at is Halloween costumes. And he's maybe number one in a 1A in both of those categories, AJ.
Yeah, I agree. Well, you mentioned he kind of crow hopped and threw that ball to Metcalf. I mean, Ty Schmidt lets us know all the time. Isn't he basically a starting shortstop for the Yankees?
Could be.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Second base.
Yeah, it could be. Right?
Starting second base.
Well, he could do second.
Yeah, he's got a great arm.
Yeah.
He's got a great arm. I don't know if he can hit a fucking curveball, but he's got a great arm.
That was like such a 90-year-old. Didn't that sound like a 90-year-old over there? Can the son of a bitch hit a curveball? That's what I thought.
Like it matters if he can right now. What is he in year 11 in the NFL? He's made $400 million, and his wife has made $300 million. Like he doesn't need to hit a curveball.
Yeah, I know. But you asked me if he could, and I don't know if he can.
And I don't know if we're allowed to play that song.
I think he can make it. I think he can make it happen.
I think we're gonna get kicked off the internet for that song.
Oh no.
Oh. I don't love it. Hey, I don't love it.
Kicked off for what?
Hey, if you play a song, there is a kid's song we played last week that he sent in and told us that we could play, and then he immediately followed up and gave us a strike, tried to take us off the internet.
It has been cleared. We are good.
Oh, good for him. Shout out to him. Let's get back to it then. What's his name? Johnny Dunn.
Big J. D.
He's not playing this flute, I don't think, but he sings on top of it.
Yas flute.
I don't know.
Hey, where's Tess? Wasn't Tess supposed to come on?
Yeah, we got to get to a break because Tess is on the other side.
Nice.
You ever met him?
Yeah, I met him down at your thing at the Super Bowl at Topgolf.
Oh, yeah. Nice. He was there for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
We made him. That was our fault, too.
Yeah.
He was such a nice guy. Cannot wait to chat with him. Joe Tessitore of Holy Moly and ESPN Boxing and College Football will be joining us on the other side. Had an amazing call with his son on the field this past Saturday. We'll talk to him, plus more of your phone calls on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Sirius XM Channel 82, Mad Dog Sports Radio.
Looking at these rappers like it's my dinner time. Murder this beat like a federal crime.
I was told by Del Curry, Scottie Pippen struggles on a golf course, right?
Right.
I was told at that thing that I'm going against Scottie Pippen the next day, match play, heads up, one-on-one Scottie Pippen. So we decide, like, okay, we could probably have a couple drinks, stay at the casino a little bit longer than we should.
Representing the NFL out of the Shoeless Golf Club of America, Pat McAfee. His opponent, representing the NBA, Scottie Pippen.
You know what I mean? This guy's got 6 rings. Yeah. He's a fucking Hall of Famer. But today he's going to play against me. And then I start seeing Scottie hit some shots that are just like starting to come together. And I'm like, wait a fucking minute. I think I was lied to.
We were lied to yesterday. We were told Scottie Pippen was a terrible golfer. Bro, he's Scottie fucking Pippen.
Going in the back 9, I think I was down 1. Like we were battling. But I started making putts. And Scottie Pippen went ahead and got real hot. I mean, real fucking hot. I was down 3 with 7 left. And I looked right in the camera, and I go,
"Strip down 3, with like 7 holes left. Scottie Pippen's about to get this work."
Scottie Pippen from 190 yards out just fucking dunks it. Fucking boom, bang, and then walks up to the green, gets the ball, cameras on him, and he goes, "Pippen ain't easy."
All right, down 4 with 6 left after Scottie Pippen just chips him from fucking 400 yards out.
I was fucking demoralized.
Pippen ain't easy.
By the way, best he's ever performed at golf, because I'm around, better teammate than Jordan.
Yep.
People forget. Oh, yeah, I told Dell, I was like, Dell, what the fuck you lying to me? He was like, well, I saw it yesterday. He was not great. And Greg Anthony told me, and I was like, Dell, he buried me, Del Curry. He buried me. He was like, hey, Pippen ain't easy.
Yes, baby, it's time to celebrate.
Talking about a shotgun of beer after he had beat me. Obviously, I like teach him how to do it.
Yeah, well, hold on there. It might spread a little bit, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you're going to go here, and then you're going to open and flip up. Does that make sense? Congrats on winning the NBA a couple times, blah, 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 blah. And being an incredible golfer. Right, well, cheers, man. Hey, 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 hey.
Damn.
Okay,
That's the
Scotty.
best Bud Light I ever had.
Hey, there's no spot king up here.
You're right.
Hey, so sorry to interrupt the other commercials that were just happening, but I want to talk to you about our sponsor, Whoop. Oh, yeah. Whoop is a fitness wearable that provides daily personalized insights to you on your sleep, recovery, and how much stress you put on your body throughout the day from both your daily activity and the normal stressors of life.
Oh, yeah.
You know your normal stressors, AJ, like your 45 kids dressed up like the Addams Family? Hey, great costume, by the way.
Great costume. Looked awesome. Thank you. Isn't it pronounced Whoop?
We've been using Whoop over the last few months, and let me tell you, it makes everybody's life a lot better.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
It makes you want to say, Whoop,
there it is.
Whenever you wear your Whoop.
There.
Track your sleeping, track your everything, track your daily caloric something. Everything you could possibly need to make your body better and know more about yourself, it has. Your body vitals, specifically the heart rate variability, sleep, resting heart rate, respiratory rate, baseline, everything you possibly need to learn about yourself. They also have a strain coach, which tells you how much more you should work out to get a good workout in on your body, or how much you need to relax because your body's already at a level of exhaustion you don't need to be going anymore.
Wow.
This is grade A level shit with Whoop. Whoop, 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 whoop. Right now, Whoop is offering 15% off when you use code McAfee at checkout when you go to WHOOP.com and enter code McAfee to save 15%. Sleep better, recover faster, and train smarter. Whoop today. Use your Whoop, and you can be in the best shape of your life in a month.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's hard to be in the best shape of your life if you don't know what that even looks like. And Whoop has it all in one beautiful app. Joining us now, not only AJ Hawk, but also the host of Holy Moly.
Ooh.
What? ABC smash hit, by the way. I think he just got renewed for another season. Yes. You know him from ESPN College Football and boxing. He once stood in between Deontay Wilder and the Gypsy King and was asked to keep them separated 2 days before they were going to war. Maybe my favorite moment from this guy of all time, Italian legend, Joe Tessitore.
What's up, Pat? What's up, AJ?
Hey.
Tess, what's happening?
Tess, it is
So
great.
you got that blowtorch out to get that cigar going?
I'll see if I can scrounge it up around here. We'll see.
Almost started a
Let me
fire.
tell you something. It's so Pat, and of course you give the best introduction, right?
No.
I mean, you're straight up, like your introduction is the reason why we pay David Coonan 80% industry standard. But that was by far, like, you know, those moments we all have. Now, AJ didn't have to worry about stuff like this, but others did. Those moments you have where you're like, am I really doing this right now? Like, am I stupid enough to be putting myself in this position? But that moment when Wilder and Fury were going at it, and I stepped between them, and then there's that split second when you look around, you're like, oh, so the 400-pound security guards, they left? Like, what the? Like, what was I thinking, man?
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. The whole press conference was incredibly awkward, but you handled yourself swimmingly throughout that entire thing. And we didn't know if that was potentially a work. Like, hey, do they know that?
It was not.
And yeah, I think you got pushed a little bit. We're like, Tessitore's about to get it in there. We were watching.
Not a work, but let me tell you something. I could have used the bruiserweight Pete Dunne on that day.
The bruiserweight is the perfect final piece to the puzzle that I'm putting together to take over Undisputed Era and NXT Wednesday night, USA Network, 8 p.m. Thank you for that, Tess. Let's talk about your weekend this weekend. One of the most awesome moments I think I've ever seen, like wholesome, genuine moments. You're on the call when Boston College traveled down to play Clemson. Your son is the holder for Boston College, John Tessitore. Incredible holder, by the way. Then there's this moment that pops up, and we have the video clip of it. Let's run this right now.
So Aaron Bumeri on for the 40-yard field goal attempt. As they split out, Danny Jones a fake. Tessitore's under center. And got to call offsides. John Tessitore came up and played quarterback at the last second, and they may get a first down out of this. How about that on 4th and 2?
Okay, what a moment. You obviously, do you know that there's a chance they're running that?
No
chance at all.
No.
So that was just genuine.
No. Yeah. The only thing I know is obviously I just know John. And, as you know, because John is one of your acolytes, he's sick in the head. Like, he's all the way for the brand.
Yeah. Amen.
He's a mini you, just with a little more, Italian chili flakes running through his face.
Yeah, okay.
And I know Coach Hafley trusts him as a jack of all trade. He's a kid who played quarterback, receiver, safety, kickoff specialist, punter, place kicker, holder, and he's very comfortable. I mean, this is a kid who, when I was watching his high school career, would constantly, if he had numbers, he'd be muddle. He'd be pod look. He'd be faking. I mean, he scored. I think in New England championship game his senior year, he pulled off 2 fakes, a speed option, a quarterback dive, multiple fake punts. It's just who he is.
Let's go!
Wow. Yeah, it's who he is. So I know that he's got that in him, and I know that Coach Hafley and Coach Turn, the special teams coordinator, I know what they dial up in practice. I know he's pulled it off against the first team defense, various fakes. I should have known when it was under 5 yards, though, Pat.
Yeah.
I should have known. And then he's come out in that muddle shotgun look on extra points numerous times this year, and I see him counting numbers and looking over at the offensive line. I see him looking at the flanker. But to do it against the number 1 team on the road at Clemson in a spot like that where now you're going to potentially put your team up by 18, which our graphics people were on it, man. Largest deficit that the number 1 team in the country has ever had at home since 1950.
Whoa, long time. 70 years.
Onions,
wow,
man.
quick math.
Onions.
Yeah.
Pure onions.
Whenever you're saying that, there has to be now you're a consummate professional, by the way. You literally are. Every time you're a consummate professional. But is it a little bit difficult to separate, like, okay, I helped create that kid, shape that kid, I shagged balls for that kid, I did everything, and then also trying to keep the professionalism out of it? Because I would lose, if that was my kid, I don't know if I'd be able Now, granted, I don't have a kid, I only got a dog, but if my dog Valerie was in one of them dog things, I don't know if I'd be able to keep it together. You know what I mean?
Listen, I have no idea how the Greasies did it back in the day with the Rose Bowl, because I've had it 2 times now on ABC, and both times, thank God you're so hyper attentive when you're in the moment of making a call, because when you get to commercial break, you get to halftime, wow, it hits you. Or like after the game when you're grabbing Mexican firewater, wow, it hits you. But it was awesome. I just, I committed to, hey, I'm calling him Tessitore, and I'm calling this just with the same enthusiasm and the same way of the shock value if it was anybody else who pulled that off on 4th and 2 against the number 1 team in the country. And we stayed in that lane. I told him on Monday, both the week he was playing Mac Brown, North Carolina, and this week playing Dabo and Clemson, I said, listen, man, when Monday morning comes around, I'm the ABC broadcaster, you're number 98, and we don't become father and son until after the game.
Stern but fair.
That's how it was, man. It's like, listen, you think he was telling me, hey, by the way, here's what we got on. Here's where the green light. There's none of that. I mean, he was just another player. In fact, running into halftime, AJ, you'll love this. Running into halftime, he sees Holly Rowe, the sideline reporter. Holly puts up her camera like this. He sticks his face in there, and he says, "Tell my dad I'm sorry I couldn't give him the heads up."
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Is it weird calling your son by his full name and John Tessitore? Like that right there made me feel like, I don't know. I think that'd be a tough situation to be in. And then also, are you worried that you don't want to like oversell it too much on what just happened?
Yeah, like I'm the other way. So I'm the guy that, like, I was so conscious, of what am I wearing? Like, I don't want to even have a hint of maroon. I don't want any of this.
Yeah.
Gold, maroon, nothing. Like, I'm in blue for that game. Man, I should have wore orange regalia and purple for that game. So I'm hyper aware of that, AJ. But I came away with it feeling good. The kid pulled off the play. I called him Tessitore. We documented it well. I think we were right on top of it. I love Patton. I loved when he saw the safety sneak up when he ran up there, that he didn't hesitate. He gave the hard count. He sold it hard. But, Pat, they got a group now. This specialist room up there in Chestnut Hill, they're wackos now.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what we're talking about.
Grant Carlson, have your boys go on Twitter to Grant Carlson, the BC punter. My man wears a Waffle House arm sleeve.
Yeah.
Full-on Waffle House arm sleeve.
Smart.
The starting kicker, Aaron Boumeri's got the handlebar mustache working.
Let's go,
And then
kid.
you got psycho WWE NXT Holder, who's calling fakes on 4th and 2. He's pure Ric Flair.
That's awesome.
Going right through his blood. They're wackos.
That's incredible. I like that group. They're obviously helping the Boston College team turn around, by the way. They look a lot better than they have in recent memory. Feel like that's a great head coaching hire. And your kid, I'm happy he's going to have great success there. He sounds like an awesome guy. I'm a big fan. I got to meet him. Can I talk to you a little bit about your life here a little bit? So, holy moly should not be as entertaining as it is. And the reason why it is as entertaining as it is because of you and Riggle or whatever. It is incredibly entertaining to watch that. I mean, it's a great show.
Dude, it is. Here's the deal with it. We didn't know what we were stepping into, but we soon realized that the absurdity was beloved.
Yeah.
That just put us on the set, put the cameras on, roll all night, let us just have as much fun as we can. And we've been so blessed with the reception on ABC. We're going into year 3.
Okay,
we got a lot of plans. We laugh our asses off. I mean, it is a total Best in Show meets Borat, bromance on that set. And mini golf just becomes a vehicle for the two of us to just riff, to just have a blast. Hey, here's what I would love. When we get out of this thing, when COVID's in the rearview mirror and we're filming Holy Moly again late winter next spring, I want the McAfee show on the road, at the set, on location for Holy Moly.
Yeah.
We get AJ up there on like Polcano or Uranus.
Put his ass on Uranus for sure.
Okay, I'm going to pause on AJ on Uranus, but Volcano at least.
Oh, okay.
You guys would have a blast out there now. And the tailgating's sick. I mean, Zac Efron's showing up, Josh Duhamel's showing up. Guys are having a good time, getting in a good place before they go out and watch some extreme.
Hold on. Zac Efron's hanging out
Needs a
over there?
body tip.
Zac Efron?
Yeah, we have a good time out there.
Wow. Sounds like Zac Efron.
I don't know what Efron is doing there. Good for you, Tess. Is there anything that you haven't gotten to call that you want to? We know you can do everything. Any sport, the show. Like what's out there that you still haven't gotten to?
AJ, I've reached a stage in my career where I'm very contented and I have some golden rules that I like to follow. I'm all about who am I working with, what am I working on, and is there an ambulance close by? Bro,
Smart.
I love danger. I love combat sports. I love world title fights. I love people flying off of the course on Holy Moly, and I like it all on the line at major college football or the NFL. That's what I'm about. If there's an ambulance nearby, there's a lot of pressure, and it matters greatly with what you're doing, then I want to passionately broadcast it. I want to broadcast with people who have that same standard and alignment. That's where I'm at in life. I can't do anything else. It's just where I'm at. I'm intense. I'm passionate. I want my sports and my people to be the same way.
How much do you miss that college atmosphere this year? Because obviously you're away from it there for a couple of years with Monday Night Football. You come back into college football and the test effect is a real thing. And then now we have college stadiums that are at capacity, but is it still a feeling of the rush that you used to get, or are you still missing and can't wait for that day to come back?
Listen, when you're sitting on top of a 100,000 person stadium in the SEC and the band is rocking, I mean, you can feel it. You feel it under your legs. It's shaking. But still, bro, when that red light comes on and you're about to kick off in college football, and by the way, do you know what my assignment is this week? Are you aware that I am broadcasting the West Virginia Mountaineers down there at Texas? Are you aware that that is happening, that the legacy will be discussed, that number 40 will be living proudly as we are down there in the Lone Star State? It is ABC at noon. And your West Virginia Mountaineers are coming off of a big win, my friend.
Yeah, you're damn right. Neil Brown's got them boys humming. Texas stinks, too. Let's go, Joe.
Yeah!
Get that thing going.
Yeah!
Thank you, Joe Tessitore joining us right now. College football and boxing. Whenever we went to, didn't we go to, we went to, who did we go? What fight did we go to? Lomachenko or something
Triple
like
G and, it might have been.
Loma. Whenever you go to those.
You know, you got to come out to the fights in Vegas. The other thing is, and I hope everybody's getting hot, cashing in, hashtag get hot, make cash. Everybody had a good weekend, I hope.
Yeah.
But you gotta get me on sometime. I'll text you. You got to get down on some of these over-unders on total rounds when we've got championship fights. That's what you need to do. You got to start betting boxing.
Who is that dude?
Money lines, but the total rounds.
Hey, there was a dude. I don't know if you called it or not, and I don't know what promotion it was, so you might not even be able to talk about it. But there's a knockout the other night. This dude hit a left uppercut.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Tank Davis is very powerful. He was at 130 pounds. He's going to fight at 135 pounds. That left uppercut was thrown with such speed and violence against Leo Santa Cruz. It's great. And then the other one you want to watch, and I would have given you this, we would have had the under rounds plus the prop bet of the TKO, is Inoue, the Japanese superstar, the bantamweight, the 118-pounder. Go on the ESPN Twitter feed, go on ESPN Plus. Watch his knockout the other night of Jason Maloney from Australia. You had two of the best knockouts the other night. We've had sensational knockouts. That Lopez-Lomachenko fight, you know what you would have grabbed, by the way, on Teofimo Lopez? That was plus 350 that night. World champion to pull that upset. I'm telling you, boxing is one of the great value plays in all of sports. These NFL lines are so razor sharp. You need to get down with the over-unders in boxing.
I know you're Italian, so I love, and you call boxing, which is kind of like, involves that world. The fact that we need to start gambling on boxing and we have a potential insider. I mean, I want to let you know, Tess, hey, Tess, your words, my hammer, pal. I will start swinging them.
Get that damn blowtorch out there, AJ.
I will, Sue Tess. Hey, last thing for me, I wanted to pivot quick, going to back to your Monday night gig. Pat and I have worked a game in a three-man booth. So we did Texas Tech Baylor a couple years back. Yeah. You have three-man booth, but you have Booger down on the field in the Booger Mobile early on. How tough is that? Like the logistics of thinking, hey, when can I talk? When can we jump in? How did you guys work through it?
When you're doing it on the stage of Monday Night Football, but I couldn't have enjoyed my time with Booger and Jason Witten more. They're both great human beings, great people, work passionately hard. They're great friends in my life. They're like family to us. So listen, as I said to you, it's about who I work with, and I love the people I work with. Right now I'm with Greg McElroy, and we're having a lot of fun in Holly Rowe. But, yeah, it's challenging, those three-man booths. And, now I'm back in a two-man booth doing ABC college football, so that's a lot of fun. Oh, speaking of which, there, Pat.
Yeah.
My son needs some advice because the teammates, the crazy Boston College locker room, they are pushing like nuts for this Peter Mortel Holder of the Year award.
Okay, yeah.
And John wants to know, should he be cutting promos WWE style? Should he be running around the city of Boston holding random things? Like, what's the push here? Because these guys in that room, they want that HOTY.
I think we're well on our way, right? I mean, with drawing the number one team offsides to pick up a big first down for your team, that is a pretty heroic move that the holder can have. I haven't seen his holds. I assume he's very good because he's incredibly
he takes great pride in late. He's all about the art.
See, that's what I'm talking about. I think he's well ahead. He's got to be the favorite at this point, but know this. That Peter Mortel Holder of the Year award, not easy to get. It's a marathon. It is a marathon.
That's right.
It is not a sprint.
You got to be consistent. But in all honesty, Pat, and I will say this.
Every day.
And I'll close on this.
Every day.
The other day, if you look at pictures of when he did that against Clemson, he's wearing a green rubber band wristband, a Michigan State green wristband, because his individual coach growing up in showcase camps at all the Cole camps was Mike Sadler, the late, great Mike Sadler. And we were with We were with Mike that day that the tragedy happened. And just know this, all the fun we're having joking around with what John did against Clemson and fooling them in that key moment of the game, the only thing he cared about was letting Karen Sadler, Mike's mom, know that he was thinking about Mike and thinking about her. That's all he cared about this weekend, and that's why he had that on. If you look at all the pictures, you see
that is awesome. That is awesome. That's in the punter kicker community. That's obviously a legend that passed away way too soon. But we can't wait to hear you call West Virginia, Texas this weekend. We appreciate you so much, Tess.
Guys, I love visiting with you. Keep it going. Hashtag get hot.
Hashtag get hot, stay hot.
Hashtag
Get hot, stay hot, pal. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Tessitore. Thank you, Tess. Appreciate you, man. So that was an audible call that John Tessitore took into his own hands and did that against #1 Clemson on ABC.
Wow. Big gut sack. Big gut sack.
That is awesome. I was never given that freedom.
Shitting me? You weren't? You couldn't just stand up and go try to draw him off sides?
No, fuck it. I'm done. Flank out. Yep. Could you imagine if I would have done that? I was given the freedom to do hard counts and stuff like that, but never stand up, send out the wing, go ahead and line up at wide out, kid. Off the ball, please. Thank you. Hey!
Never. What would Chuck say to you doing that?
Oh, that would have been awesome. If it would have worked, it would have been awesome. Yeah. If it didn't work, it was, well, we'll talk about this tomorrow. We will talk about this. Let's go to James in Panama City. What's going on, James?
Hi, what's going on, guys? How you doing?
Hey, not too shabby. How are you, bub?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. For this Overreaction Monday, how about some ignorant trading for Jordan Love for one of Dallas's stud defensive run blockers?
Great question right there. Why don't we take what we have, which is a first-round draft pick quarterback, send him to a team that needs one, Dallas Cowboys, and in return, get somebody who can play defense? Not a bad play right there, Ty.
I mean, that's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen.
Well, why? Because you think Mike McCarthy saw those videos of him throwing the ball below the net, and he says, "I'm not trading anything for him." Is that what you think happens, Ty? Is that why you're saying that?
I mean, we don't need anyone from the Cowboys, all right? Okay, you start at Julio and you end at Julio, and then you shore up the defense.
AJ, he dropped Julio's name in the middle of our interview last week, and I didn't even hear it. Was that just a little seed you think he dropped, maybe to get people thinking and talking, or maybe to Guntakus, hey, this is a guy that I'm thinking about getting on our team here?
It's never going to happen.
I mean, Aaron is a very calculated guy. Like, he really puts thought into what he says. So if I had to guess, I would say, of course, he's a giant fan of Julio. He's a quarterback in the NFL. Julio is one of the best there is. Yeah, I love this guy. Would love to throw the ball to him.
What games have we not talked about? Raiders beat the Browns. We talked about that a little bit. Bengals beat the hell out of the Titans. I cannot believe the Bengals beat the Titans like that, AJ. What a wild game. I lost a lot of money because of that Titans loss there. I thought Titans were going to steamroll them. It turns out that wasn't the case at all. Joey Burrow's a guy, huh?
Yeah, he's been a guy all year, it seems like. The dude just, gives the Bengals a ton of hope. Yeah, going into that game, I was thinking, all right, man, I would love to see Joey Burrow get a good win over the Titans, but it's not going to happen. And then he goes out there and he does it. I mean, I wouldn't say I didn't have faith in him. I don't have a whole lot of faith in the team around him.
You thought there was a chance they were going to win that game?
No, I didn't. I said I hope that I wish for Joe Burrow and the Bengals that they could win this game. It would be big for their franchise and for Joe Burrow. I didn't think they had a chance going in, though, but obviously I was wrong.
Listening to Joey Burrow's interview afterwards, he said, we could be 5-2 right now, 4-3. There's a couple things that could go different ways. We could be a very different team. And that's interesting because he's so young. It's like Herbert over there at the Chargers. 3 of the last 4 games, they've been up 17 and have lost it in the end for whatever reason. It's like these young quarterbacks, Joey Burrow and Justin Herbert, their seasons could be very different this year. And the record could be very different if it wasn't for a couple things. I'm not saying it's their fault, but the team has to learn how to win as well. The Chargers have to do that. Bengals have to do that. But we should remember that next year whenever we're gambling. That the Chargers and Bengals team, probably pretty good, have been for a while. Just not going to win a lot of games until they'll figure it out in the offseason. That's something we should think about.
Some live bets if they're up big.
Or not, because...
What about AJ? What about AJ Green to the Packers?
Well, a lot of people talked about that. We pressed Schefter a little bit. He didn't really give us much of anything. There was a fake Twitter account that put out that John Ross had been traded to the Packers. Ty Schmidt almost fucking died right here on the seat. Right?
I almost did. Puked. Luckily, my sports update, try to pull a quick one there.
Yeah, John Ross, and he said openly that he wants to be traded. AJ Green allegedly being traded. I mean, Carlos Dunlap just got out of there.
Hollywood Brown's not happy.
Hollywood Brown wants out of Baltimore. Maybe.
Touchdown pass. Still not happy, right?
Yeah, and who knows if he's not happy or if he is happy and he was just quoting a rap song or something.
He just wants more opportunities, it sounds like.
Well, what's the point of having soldiers when you never use them? Parenthesis, never! Exclamation point, exclamation point, parentheses. So in my eyes, when I read that, I was like, oh, he's writing a song, maybe poetry, because why else would you have the answer in the background? Never! You know what I mean? Like a little ad-lib there of never. But then a lot of people on the internet are like, he's pissed off because he never gets the ball because he is open and Lamar misses him, or they just don't throw the ball to him enough.
Yeah, he had 1 catch for 3 yards. That was a touchdown on 2 targets.
Oh.
I did look up that quote. I could not find it in a rap song.
Okay. Maybe he's writer. Maybe he's writer.
Maybe it's his own.
Maybe it's
following AB's career.
And it just so happens to be in the exact same time where he allegedly could be pissed off, in that exact rap song or lyric to a poem that he's writing could potentially send waves that he's not happy with what the fuck's going on.
2 targets. That's all you need to know. Like 2 targets. Yeah. What receiver is going to be happy when you have 2 targets? Even though one of them was for a touchdown. Yeah. You want some more opportunity.
Let's hit Evan in Buffalo. What's going on, Evan?
Hey, what's going on, Pat? AJ Hawk, the boys. Shout out Tony Unders.
All right. Yeah. Shout out.
Well, Pat, for 23 years of life, I have watched the Patriots absolutely piss on us every 2 times a year. Last year, I had 10 days of leave, and I had to watch it again because I decided to see the game.
Here we go.
And to say we are ecstatic here in Buffalo is an understatement. Overreaction Monday, obviously, but I am feeling good. Going forward into the Seahawks, how does it look for the Bills?
Okay, going to be tough, I think. Russell Wilson might put up 30. Okay, no offense to your defense. It's just whether or not you're going to be able to keep up with Russell Wilson. Will Buffalo be able to do that? All signs have pointed to no in the last couple of weeks, but maybe it does happen. It feels like that's a good Seahawks win. Even Russell Wilson's unbelievable. It feels like, aside from the 3 picks last week, he threw 3 interceptions in 1 game last week.
Yikes.
But aside from that, he can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. And DK Metcalf is just growing to become the next Randy right now. The ball is thrown to him. It's like he's going to catch it, it feels like, at all times.
Russell Wilson, 10-0, his last 10 on the East Coast.
They are 2.5-point favorites at Buffalo.
Oh, so we should be hammering that right now, I think. Yeah. Let's go ahead and get started.
Hey, what about Carlos? Is Dunlap able to play this game?
I think so, right? 6 days is all they need.
6 positive or 6 negative tests, and then what? Does he know what the hell he's talking about on defense? Probably. Is that an easy thing to transition if you're on one D-line to another D-line?
I mean, it's not easy, but they can definitely make it easier on him. Give him a little package. Hey, this is what you do. Don't worry about dropping or anything that you're going to be rushing the passer. Hey, that's all you got to do. That's what you get paid for if you're an outside rusher.
Monday Night Football, Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveling to the Giants. How do you feel about it, AJ?
Oh, it's going to be tough, man. I don't know if the Bucs are up for this one.
Whoa.
My sources have told me that voices inside the Buccaneers building have been echoing that the Giants are going to beat the fuck out of them. So they've been, I don't think they're going to overlook this at all. I believe this week has been very focused by the Tampa. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers understand what they have right now. That is why I think that the Giants are in deep dog shit. And I think the minus 12.5 is an automatic hammer if you get a chance to do it.
Or, for the nice odds, minus 27.5 if you're feeling real good for the Buccaneers.
What is that?
Plus 350, I believe, and it feels like a lock.
Yeah. So who knows what's going to happen?
Think about that, Pat. Though, yeah, I know we're up against it, but you have an extra day of practice, and you're playing the Giants. If you're the Tampa Bay Bucs, not only did they probably kill each other all week long, their coaches just told them how terrible they were, and that, hey, yeah, you guys think you're good, you go lose to the Giants, and all of this stuff is you just flush it right down the toilet because it doesn't matter. So there's been some tight buttholes in Tampa Bay, I bet, all week long.
Everybody talks about how, like, oh, is this what game? You have that old mindset. I think tonight's a bad night for the Giants, but we could be wrong. We'll be back, Mignogna. Not 100% sure if Aaron Rodgers is going to be on the show tomorrow, by the way. Not because they lost, but because they're playing on Thursday, and it's a short week. Tuesday, I assume he's practicing, unless they have to do it virtually because A.J. Dillon played an entire game with COVID. So, I mean, nobody knows. Nobody knows how it's going to all play out. This has been Overreaction Monday, November 2nd, 2020. The legend, Chris Mad Dog Russo. Mad Dog Unleashed is next. This has been the Pat McAfee Show. Hope you go take a great shit. Maybe the best outro in the history of radio.
I think so.
Maybe.
That's your thing now, isn't it?
Go take a shit, yeah, because you got 6 minutes normally because it goes from 56 to 2 minutes after. So 6 minutes, I think, is enough time to potentially have to shit your pants. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we got to figure out what we're doing with Aaron. I talked to him last week, and I wasn't aware at the time when he reached out that it was a quick week. They're going on Thursday, so he's like, "Yeah, we got to figure something out." So I don't know. We'll see what we can do.
Well, we did talk earlier about how it's it is voting.
Yeah, true.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, and he said, "Well, are we not going to do the show then?" I don't know if he knew he had a Thursday night game then. But isn't the NFL shutting down all facilities?
I think so.
Oh yeah.
Let's go vote.
Wait, all of them? Not all of them, are they?
I think so.
Oh.
Somebody should check that for me right now. I think Diggs is checking it out. I think the NFL shutting down facilities on Tuesday so everybody can vote.
Aren't some of them? Yeah, some of them are open. Some of the stadiums are open for people to vote there.
I think
correct?
every stadium is. I do recall.
All facilities on November. Yeah.
But all facilities are closed on Tuesday, I do believe, so everybody can go vote. That has been verified, so he's got no fucking excuse. So
Unless he's voting.
Unless he is voting and promoting voting down by the polls.
Which, by the way,
if you're on a short week and you're playing on Thursday, I doubt you fall into that same category that you get to shut down your facility on Tuesday.
Oh, so Thursday night football means more than voting?
Kidding me?
Wow.
Depends who you're voting for, I guess.
I believe it's because they're using the facilities for places to vote.
Yeah.
Well,
They're not using the locker rooms, Diggs, and the practice
No,
fields.
fuck AJ. I know that.
No, I think it's all the stadiums are being used. I do know that as of yesterday. That was an announcement.
Potentially, though. I mean, maybe they will use the locker room.
It's a vote middle of the fucking season.
I mean,
Good for
it takes
COVID.
all of
in the
us.
middle of a pandemic.
Good for COVID.
That shuts the season down, Pat. What if it shuts the NFL season down because of voting? They let guys.
At least people
go and
voted.
try to-
At least people voted, AJ.
On 225 bench, they just rubbed COVID all over the bars, all over the NFL.
I'm voting. Don't mind me, I'm voting. Doing my civic duty. Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm a
what did you
fan of
spit
another
on?
team. What's that?
What were you spitting on?
Right there, I just spit on the bench itself. The bar. They're going to have to lay in it. Yeah.
A lot of COVID there now.
Yeah, let it dry off too. Blow it off.
Good luck.
It'll probably dry off like a Roman swipe, just with the quickness. Just dry. People waiting in line for a long time to vote.
Yeah. Days.
I'm getting up early in the morning, AJ. I'm going to vote tomorrow morning. As soon as those things open, I'm going to be fucking punching in the buttons. You know what I mean? I'm going to go vote.
Don't forget your sticker.
Don't forget your sticker.
Yeah, you don't have a sticker. Did you even fucking do it? Answer, nope.
Nope.
So, why do you hate? Are you a terrorist, dude?
When do you get your sticker when you mail it in?
Bro, I don't know anything about any of this stuff.
Yeah.
I just can't wait for it to be over with.
I know.
So pumped.
Can't
Oh, the
wait.
mailman gives it to me.
AJ, thank you so much. What? You hope the mailman gives you the sticker?
Yeah.
Yes. Receipts, bro.
Yeah.
I need receipts.
Yes, please, yeah.
AJ, go vote, man.
I'll make sure I vote. Who should I vote for, though? I'm still undecided.
Okay, so in the Indiana governor's one, there's this one bald-headed guy who I think he identifies as a libertarian. He's against everything that the other two are. I mean, those two. I watched a gubernatorial debate the other day. These two said something, and then this guy, the libertarian, came in, and boy, he just right down both sides. It was through. So I don't know who to vote. It's going to come down to the last minute for me for that gubernatorial one after watching all the goddamn debates. None of them really speak that well, but they are the options that we have. So I'm not 100% sure, AJ. What's that, Diggs?
Update. I just saw a tweet on Twitter that Matt LaFleur said as of now, Packers will proceed as normal tomorrow with typical midweek meetings and walkthroughs before Thursday's game in Santa Clara.
So the Packers not even voting.
Jeez. Do they care?
Oh, my God.
They don't know.
They're not trading. They're not voting. Unbelievable.
Yeah, COVID.
We'll talk to you later.
We'll keep a close eye on this story as it develops throughout the week. Know that we will be back tomorrow, noonish here. Hammer Don begins in about 30 minutes. We can't wait to chat with you about our weekend that was, the night that'll be, and next weekend's lines in advance. We've been hitting winners lately. From AJ Hawk, myself, all the boys. Also, Darius Butler, Adam Schefter from Sauna, and our guy, Joe Tessitore. We appreciate you so much for watching. This has been the Pat McAfee Show, Monday, November 2nd. Good show.
Go vote.
Go vote.